Lover will star as Simba.
It has to do with one of their shows.
Who was a voice actor in the original.
As long as it's not Sherlock, because I ride for Sherlock.
No. A movie expected
I'm going to fight their battle over the air.
House of
Fighting
Cards
the
star
fight.
Kevin Spacey seeking
So do you have something against
further
telethons?
allegations of sexual assault.
No, this is like
that's according to
you hate
the
kids? You hate sick kids? I hate kids.
Actor Anthony
This is
Rapp
kids.
of now a few
This is
we go live on YouTube.
This is pro
Spacey publicly
WYES programming and how they're getting hosed.
The 1986
Gotcha.
incident
And my weird
was
fascination
based
with
production
someone.
of Spacey's
Okay.
hit
Weird
show House of
fascination.
Cards
Okay.
as a result.
Just to show that we're
Brooks
legitimately
announcing
New
his very
Orleans,
last
this
North
rant
American
will
tour
play.
stop for his long-running
teasing
world
the
tour.
rant.
Exactly. I love it. I'm not even telling you. Because all y'all are going to think I'm weird. Doesn't matter.
So you talked for an hour last night?
Like an hour. I was like,
long time.
It was.
You just open up for questions for a
I
while?
talked and then for about
I usually
5 or
talk
6
like-
minutes,
yeah.
and it was like.
Trunk, Hagar said he has lost hope
And it
because
was-
Eddie
you
and
get asked
Alex
about,
Simon
what's
do
gonna happen
not
when
want
Tom
to
Benson
reconnect
dies.
with him
Yes.
as
They
friends.
ask
The Red
every-
Rocker
yes.
claims he didn't hear from the brothers on
I probably don't
his
even
70th
remember
birthday
half the things I
and
said.
says the
That
silence
was
made
just-
a real strong
And I've got a
statement.
friend
He
of
also
mine who
said
kept
he would
raising his
love to
hand,
do a
and I kept
reunion
telling
with
him,
the
no,
band.
I'm not
Other than
answering.
that,
I'm
he
not
says
taking your
he's
question
over it.
because it's going to be a
That's entertainment.
sabotage.
Jennifer Pilson,
So I kept,
NBC
I kept publicly humiliating him on purpose.
If you need a payday loan fast, try LendUp.com.
But let me tell you, I
Apply
probably
minutes on your
knew
phone or computer, and you could have cash in your account
legitimately
fast.
40% of the
LendUp.com,
crowd.
the better payday loan.
Legitimately.
LendUp.com,
Really? Yeah.
subject to availability in your
All
state.
like my
LendUp is a
age, like
licensed
guys I
services
grew up
organization,
with,
not a direct lender in Ohio
guys
and
that went to
Texas.
high school or college.
I
or
got out there 'cause I
Gal
wonder if some of
Fed
those
Chair
guys live
Janet
around there
Yellen
could ask
is
them about the
out.
news.
They all live
So,
around.
Of
Of course,
nominating
yeah,
current Fed Governor Jerome
I
Powell
think I'm
to
putting in an
replace
offer
Yellen when
today.
her term expired
in the
in
Lakeview
February.
house?
Powell praised
Yeah,
both
right
Yellen
there,
and
man.
former
It's like
Fed
a
Chair Ben
block
Bernanke
away.
and their sense of public
You'll
service.
be
Inside the Federal Reserve,
parlays going full.
Yeah,
policy
Martell,
decisions
that's where he likes to
matter for
go.
American families.
Y'all will be hanging out all the time.
go to
Strongly
fucking
share that sense
parlays.
of mission.
Y'all two can
Oh, dude,
walk.
come to Lakeview, Brad. Like
Y'all
come to
two
Lakeview.
could walk
Let
the
me know when you come to
neighborhood.
Lakeview, dude. I will walk out of my
Uh-oh,
house.
say
Lakeview?
Standing tradition
Yeah.
of
Oh, that's where I'm
policy
getting ready to put an
advancement.
offer on the house.
Powell
Oh,
been
seriously,
Fed
where?
member for
Right
5
off
years.
Harrison on Memphis.
Investors and
Dude,
home
like,
building
that's
companies
two-
are giving
I think that's
an
like 2 or
initial
3
thumbs
streets away
down
from,
to the
where we
House
live on
Republican
Colbert.
tax
Really?
plan
Yeah.
because of its
It's on the
proposed limits on
lake
the
side of-
mortgage
I
rates.
went to my
Would
friend's
include
house
existing mortgage holders, but
on
new
Halloween
mortgages
night
would
on
only be
Colbert.
deductible up to
What? But he's like, it's Colbert
Just one
and
provision of the tax
I
plan
think he's
touted by
like
Texas
1 or 2
Republican
houses
Kevin
off
Brady,
of
who chairs Ways and
Fillmore.
Means.
Okay,
This is
yeah,
in
so it's like
America. This is our
2
opportunity to
streets
make
back.
tax
Yeah.
Like
reality.
we, like when I get back
Deliver
into
the
it,
most
we run that. Me and my wife run
Not
that.
in the
in
jeez.
the generation.
See,
See, y'all
small
in my
New
area,
Orleans.
man.
Let
I didn't know you were over there.
I didn't know you were
I'd
over
have
there
came
either.
trick-or-treating at your house.
Or the pessimists fool you.
Yeah, seriously,
None
get
of them
candy and
thought we'd
everything.
even
You would've
get
gave my
this far
kids
with tax reform.
Vodka.
And they're wrong.
Probably.
By the way,
No,
a buddy from
Vodka.
Louisville today told me that my high school, where I went to high
They
school,
manufacture
has 21 kids on their entire
parts.
football team, and
They employ over 7,500 American workers
Oh,
in
okay,
many
so I was gonna
states
say, I
across our
figured they had at
country.
least
We're
one
looking forward
They're worse
to
than
seeing
Rummel.
that number grow
28 points all year.
President
We used to
Trump
be a
joined the
power.
That's true.
Executive Officer
That's
of
not
Powell.
true.
We were a
The
power,
Oval
man. I don't know
announcement
what's
this
going
week.
on.
Broadcom already tells San Jose, California, its
Shows you how little-
headquarters.
Shows you what
Check
happens
fire
when a legacy like me
extinguisher in your home.
leaves.
Nearly
Clearly.
38
Things fall apart.
kid brand
See?
extinguishers
It's true,
are being
man.
recalled in the
Why do you
Blame-
talk about Jeff?
blame Patino.
Plastic
I don't think he has
plastic
anything to do with
push
this,
button,
man.
Blame Calipari.
discharge in the
Yeah, blame him though.
Cal, don't get me
natural
started.
fire
That works.
emergency.
Blame
There's
Cal.
almost
Started.
400 reports of that actually happening. Consumer and business news. Joe McConnell, NBC.
I did
News
just see
Radio.
a Zach Lowe column ripping
You know
on
when
Carl
you're
Anthony
covered in tomato
Towns.
sauce,
Saying he plays
lasagna,
terrible
and you
defense,
can't
doesn't
remember
rebound,
if
not
the secret
tough.
ingredient is
All
Gouda or
scoring.
Gruyere. Well, Google Home can help.
They won without him.
Zach Lowe. Zach Lowe knows his stuff, man. You read Zach Lowe, I'm like,
Ready to
damn.
bake?
Yeah, won.
It's as easy as
He knows what the hell's going on.
minutes, starting now. It's a little help at home, like only Google can. Google Home Mini, powered by the Google Assistant.
Saints
Available at
defiant
Google
after
Store,
military
Best Buy,
bill
and more
declines
for
on
only
it.
$49. Calling the U.S. and Canadian numbers
That's on
only.
ESPN.
911 calls
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah,
Triplet.
yeah,
I'm not-
triplet.
Do you want to talk about
Triplet,
that?
anything
Good,
good.
doesn't it?
No, we don't have to. I mean, we can mention it. We don't have to talk
On
about it.
Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Dunc and Holder on a Friday, November 3rd. Larry Holder, Jeff Duncan, Clyde Verdant here in our NOLA.com Times-Picayune studios. Dave back at the iHeart studios, making sure to potentially ruin Clyde's hopes and dreams with any kind of music that he does not like.
It's Country Fried Friday. Doesn't matter.
So that's right. As long as it's Hootie and the Blowfish and not Darius Rucker,
I'm good.
That'll be good, right?
I'm good. In fact, I listened to Cracked Review. I actually bought it on vinyl.
I don't even know what any of this means. He's already talking. He's
Already
talking
We
gibberish.
haven't been on an air for a minute, and it's already derailed.
How does anybody not know Cracked Review, the should have been multiple Grammy-winning debut album for Hootie and the Blowfish? I just bought it on vinyl. I can't wait to crack that thing open. It's going to be fantastic.
Jeff, you remember when you were 30 and vinyl was like just happening?
And what, like 1972?
No, it was like 40.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like 72.
And,
Right.
and you know what's amazing is we just discovered that Clyde is a Lakeview resident. How did we not know that?
Repping the View.
How did we not know that?
I thought we talked about this.
Well, if you were on early enough on our YouTube live stream, everyone knows that Jeffrey Duncan may be living in Lakeview soon. And he's going like kicking and screaming because it's away from Uptown.
Lived Uptown my entire existence in New Orleans, but spreading my wings. Might be coming to the View.
I wish we could do like an episode of House Hunters for like you. For like literally, it would be like a docu, like follow Jeff around as he finds his newest place to live and write his columns and be an old man and
here we go.
The rest of
always got to be an old man. Always got a jab.
That would be hilarious. A Jeff Duncan House Hunters, and he'd have all these like snide remarks.
Oh yeah,
I don't like that molding. And it would just
I need double vanities, please.
Right.
Don't you remember the great Curb Your Enthusiasm when Larry David declined the house tour? He declined the house tour from Jeff Garland, his agent's wife, wanted to show him the new house, and he was making fun of house tours. He's like, they all look the same. What's the difference? They're all the same, you know.
Why are we touring?
Oh, I like those beams. That's a cool closet. Nice stairs.
Bizarre segue to Lakeview. I want to thank St. Dominic's Men's Club last night. I had a great time speaking with them, and lots of wild questions and answers. And I could tell you,
just a men's club?
Of course, yeah, the Dad's Club.
Oh.
Not like, oh my gosh.
No, I'm just saying.
Not the men's club as in like Visions.
Right, clearly.
Haven't we just had a large investigative series on these kind of things?
We did. It's called The Track. It's a 3-part series. Read it at NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune.
It's tremendous reporting. Anyway, there was not tremendous reporting at St. Dominic's Dad's Club, okay? Dad's Club, so Clyde doesn't...
I'm just saying, I want to know, like, I don't have any kids yet, but if I wanted to be a part of this, how do I get info? That's
you
what I'm
need
saying.
to have a child that goes to school there, or well, I guess you could go and just kind of donate your time. But anyway, lots of Saints questions, obviously. Look, Saints are on a roll. They're 5-2, taking on the Tampa Bay Bucks. And, of course, today, on Friday, is typically our heavy Saints show, so we're going to talk plenty of Saints Bucks. And if you want to get involved, 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Later on in the show, we will hear my interview with Kenny Vaccaro. Talk to him about 3 or 4 minutes in the locker room. And my column up on NOLA.com right now has to do with Kenny Vaccaro, being that he has rebounded from being parked on the bench temporarily. And, of course, Sean Payton took a jab at the term Kenny Vaccaro was benched. But, look, he took him out, didn't like what he was playing. And ever since then, he's rebounded and been an absolute gem for the defense. So I talked with Kenny Vaccaro about his play and just going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll talk plenty about that. We'll have our lock of the week, upset of the week, fantasy stud or dud of the week. Let me tell you, last week I picked Brandon Cooks to be the fantasy stud, and he was a total dud, like bomb out. So I'm not very good at that either.
Really? Because he's having a good year. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, he is having a good year, but last week was not his week. So, but we'll have that. And also we will talk with Jim Derry. Look, we had him on yesterday, and we will have him on for his full prep football preview. Big weekend, final week of the regular season for prep football, so we'll have Jim Derry come on. And then in about, 5 minutes, we will be talking with
Eric Stewart, the race director for the Crescent City Classic. Their fall classic is tomorrow at Mid-City, at the City Park, I'm sorry.
Of course, always the fall classic or the spring classic, always big events, so we'll talk with him about that. So, but yeah, look, it's big weekend in football. Look, we've talked a lot about LSU, Alabama. We've talked a lot about Saints, Bucks. And I know, Jeff, you are venturing off to Tuscaloosa. Well, or Meridian tonight, and then driving, to Tuscaloosa in the morning?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to meet Ron and the LSU crew in Meridian, and we have apparently a steak dinner planned tonight. I have no idea what kind of steakhouse.
In Meridian?
In Meridian.
I could tell you.
There is one in Meridian, yes.
Yeah, there's one. It's probably called Ryan's Steakhouse.
Golden Corral.
Exactly.
Outback.
A delicious sirloin with lots of gristle on it.
You can wear it in your shoe home if you don't like all the meat.
So savage.
Yeah,
so
savage. So I have no idea what we're getting into, but looking forward to the game tomorrow night. My column up today about how Nick Saban is the difference maker in this series. You know, Nick Saban, when he was at LSU, was 4-1 against Alabama. Now he's 8-3 and has won 6 in a row against LSU. I think there's one common denominator here. It's the head coach.
Absolutely. But anytime you have to mention Nick Saban in this town, I know there could be spitfire and venom for an LSU fan, but there's always the other side of the coin with Nick Saban. He passed on Drew Brees. So the Saints won that battle. So if you want to look at any sort of positivity toward him after basically leaving on Christmas when he left for the Miami Dolphins, and then, of course, he leaves for Alabama. But any silver lining, just take that one. It's okay. You could do it.
Take that one.
Hey, by the way, on the homepage of NOLA.com, the lead story right now is a massive French Quarter mansion hits the market for $10.3 million. You guys want to go together on that, and maybe we could broadcast from the mansion?
Breaking news, that's Jeff Duncan's next house. He's not going to go to Lakeview. He's going to go buy that one because he's Moneybags McGee over here.
Yeah, $10.3 million. I had no idea there was a home in New Orleans for $10 million.
It's probably not really worth
Is this Brangelina?
$10 million.
Is it Brangelina's place? I wonder. I don't know. We have to read about it.
It might be.
We veered off away from sports. Sorry about that.
It's worth it.
You're prone to do on Fridays.
We want to know your traffic issues. We want to know your residency. We want to know all of that.
I believe someone told me they're going to go on a crotchety rant today. When are we going to get that?
I'm not doing it yet.
Okay.
I'm not doing it yet. But I've got a Jeff Duncan-esque rant that I'm going to go on, and it's about as true blue New Orleans as humanly possible. So you could tell where this show resonates, originates, all of it. So I'll go on that, and both of you are going to look at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? I know it.
Somebody driving the left lane real slow?
No.
Yeah, real slow.
It has to
someone didn't pull up to the next pump at the gas station like New Orleanians are wanting to do. Stop doing that, New Orleans people.
Whoa.
If you're at the pump,
Wait a minute.
pull up to the next pump. Don't pull up to the first one.
Where did this
Come
come
on,
from?
man. No, seriously, yesterday at the gas station, it's a very tight space, but literally to pull in from the street, like all you have to do is pull up on that same side, pull up to the first one. First one.
Man, somebody's...
Pull up to the first one in front of you.
Somebody's
Let somebody come back.
and old. That's just called being
I'm done
considerate.
with you people. I'm done. Nickelback and Creed yesterday. This is a real thing, man.
I'm literally doing natural sound of snoring into the microphone. So why don't we take a break here because my rant is better than yours. So it's coming up later. But let's talk with Eric Stewart. Talk about the Fall Crescent City Classic. We'll take a break here and talk with him about the big race. And of course, Jim Derry, prep football guru here at NOLA.com at the Times-Picayune. We'll talk with him about 10:45. And then in the 11 o'clock hour, you'll hear me chat with Kenny Vaccaro. So we'll talk with that and big Saints-Bucks matchup. So we'll talk about that as well. So 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here on a Country Fried Friday. I've embraced it. Now I give it a big old hug. So give it a hug with me here on Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Duncan Holder.
Shake it for the young bucks sitting in the honky tonks, for the rednecks rocking till the break of dawn. The DJ spinning that country song. Come on, come on, come on.
Sounds a little like Luke Bryan to me.
That is Luke Bryan. That is correct. That is Luke Bryan.
Well done.
I don't. Why does a guy have two first names?
Hey, man, because
that's like all country stars.
that's a good
Clay Travis.
Clay Travis.
Clay Travis is not a country star.
That is terribly wrong, Jeff.
What is it?
Morning show.
What's that guy's name? What's that guy's
Randy Travis.
Randy Travis. Okay, that's my point. It's the same thing.
A New York City psychologist.
Why do I allow people to come on my show and call me racist? Because I know I'm not racist.
Because I know I'm not racist. And
You have to say you're not racist. You're racist.
You're completely
Child
racist.
Mind Institute says it's
No,
okay. to
Tennessee
I think Randy
There's
Travis
no
employs
sex.
more
It
black
says
people
it's
than Clay
important to
Travis
say
does.
Kids are going to read their emotions.
Clay Travis sounds like a country music singer.
Right.
And we want kids to be.
Except like the
does
David
live-
Allen Coe type of
He does live in
country singer.
Tennessee, right?
Also,
does
Yeah, he lives in Nashville.
Yeah, so there you go. About right.
Answering a
That's all we
child's
didn't know.
questions without offering too much info.
Country
He also says
superstar
that
Clay
is
Travis.
reassuring. And he says while it's okay to explain
Embroiled in
philosophy
controversy.
to an
Exactly.
older child, it's
We have a
not to
request,
leave it
Dave,
there.
from the
What you want to bring
YouTube
kids back to is
chat.
your own
All right, hold on
value.
one second.
Tragic accident like this or an accident.
Settle down,
like
crotchety
never
Jeff.
something
Oh, that's a good
cause.
song.
The
That's a
idea
good
is
song.
to
Yes.
preserve life,
Is that from
preserve other
Ray Beers
safety.
giving us a shout out?
Lee Kessler, NBC
No.
News Radio.
Oh, no. Sean Owens, it says.
Yeah. Amy by Pure Prairie League. Amy, what you
All
want
right,
to
we
do?
got Eric.
All right,
All right, thank you, buddy.
All right, so now what's the request?
Amy by Pure Prairie League.
Is that
Wait,
country?
come again?
Amy? Yes, that's country. You know, Amy, what you want to do?
Are you sure?
Yeah,
That's not country.
That is kind of country.
No,
Is
that's
that
like
would that
rock.
be like Southern rock?
That's
Is
like
it Amy Grant?
No, not Amy.
I love Amy
You could
Grant.
play some Amy Grant.
Pure Prairie League.
Dude, I love Amy Grant.
You would. Do you love her Christian song musings? Do you like her cheating on her, like her and Vince Gill cheating on each other's spouses to be with each other?
Good Lord, you hate everybody.
I don't. I'm just calling it out.
Who has Amy Grant TMZ scoop?
I'm just
only
saying.
live.
Same thing with Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. I'm just saying.
No, it's not the same thing.
I mean, kind of. They were both with people.
I love Amy Grant.
Who was Amy Grant married to?
What was that guy?
No, Vince Gill.
Vince Gill. Yeah.
When I lived in Nashville, when I lived in Nashville, they were like the hot couple.
Yeah, because literally they need to be together, but they were with other people, then got together while they were with other people, and now they're together. People
Are they
conveniently forget about that.
What's the TMZ scoop?
That they were both with people cheating on each other while both with their spouses, and then got
Tomato, potato. So what?
That's just what those people do.
That's what those people do.
That's swinger society. No
Man,
big
when
deal.
you're a
Hollywood
Hollywood,
Entertainment Society.
you think Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie were like faithful? Come on.
I went and bought this.
Clearly not, because they're divorced.
Exactly.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Man, all my weird abnormalities are coming out because I love Amy Grant.
It doesn't take much, dude.
And it's a venture off from Country Fried Friday, and my wife thinks I'm a total weirdo that I have this fascination with Amy Grant. I'm just gonna say it's not like I'm in love with her. I think her music is spectacular.
Not like I'm in love with Miranda Lambert, because I'm really in love with her.
I don't know. Okay.
Really in love. Yeah. My wife's okay with it, so it's fine.
Do you have a hall pass?
Yeah. No, she knows full well. She'd be like, I understand. I wouldn't like it, but I understand.
Who's your wife's hall pass? Larry Holder?
I don't know mine.
I'm putting the headset
I don't
down
really.
as I'm
I
walking
don't even,
away.
I'm sure I have one, but I don't even really remember. I don't know. Mine might be like Catherine Zeta-Jones. That might be like my.
Ooh, that's not terrible either.
I thought it was Amy Grant.
No, I just love
No,
her.
he
I think
actually likes her music.
She's a spectacular artist. Anyway, what is going on here on Country Fried Friday?
I don't know.
Eric Stewart.
Eric Stewart's probably wondering what the hell I just got into. I mean, we're going to be running the Fall Crescent City Classic tomorrow and jamming to Amy Grant and doing God knows what. But hey, Eric.
Discussion, guys.
Exactly. Hey, Eric, appreciate you jumping on the show. Yeah, just obviously Crescent City Classic, huge road race here in New Orleans, and just kind of give us the lowdown, the ins and outs, and can people still get involved if they want to sign up day of the race?
Yeah, registration will be open all day today, and we will be taking registrations tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's actually the only chance you'll have to qualify for a seated running position by not actually running a 10K. You can run a 5K at our Fall Classic tomorrow, and if you get a qualifying time, you make it into the big race and into a seated corral. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Eric, and it's the traditional City Park route?
It's just a little different. It starts over there by on Henry Thomas and goes back by Christian Brothers. It actually goes out on City Park Avenue a little bit and Orleans Avenue, and then comes back into the park. So it's a little bit different, but it takes advantage of the entire park. Storyland, Sculpture Garden, everything goes in front of NOMA. Comes in and finishes on the practice track, actually. So the last quarter of a mile is almost on the practice track.
And right now, how many you have in the field? How many registered right now?
Right now, I think we're over 2,500, maybe 2,600. So that would, if weather stays the way it is, get a little uptick from talking to you guys, should be around 3,000 runners tomorrow, which would be a nice size race.
Yeah, and man, the weather, this is like perfect running weather. I mean, it does not get any better. Nice and cool in the morning.
It's going to be nice tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it should be perfect. And if people want to get involved, if they want to register, how do they do it?
Sure. Go on the CCC website, which is ccc10k.com. You'll see all of our series of races listed there, the Fall Classic being one. Click on that, on the Fall Classic, and hit register now. And if you get up tomorrow morning and 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, you say, wow, looks like a really nice day to run. I think I'll go out there. Registration will open at 6:30 tomorrow morning at City Park's practice track.
And Eric, obviously, after the Crescent City Classic, there's always the fun that happens. Just what are you guys having going on afterwards? Because I mean, when you're done running, you got to find some fun. So what do you guys have going on after the race?
Absolutely. So Blue Runner Foods will be serving out there as usual. Gatorade, water. We've got food trucks. We've got community coffee out there. We've got Rouse's out there. Love cookies. Plenty to eat and drink out there. Plus, Miss Mojo will be performing in between when the runners finish. Then we'll do a little awards portion, and then she'll be going back out there. I know tomorrow's Alabama Saturday, so stick around. It doesn't get to be too much after about 11 o'clock, so we'll probably shut it down about 11:30. She'll play till 11:30.
Well, Eric, I know all the runners in the field will be happy to learn that I'm not going to be able to run because I'm going to be in Tuscaloosa, so it's wide open this year. You know, it's wide open field.
Is. Golly. So that, you know what, that could increase participation, knowing that they have a chance.
Right. I mean, because it would have been, it just wouldn't have been competitive at all if I were there.
Actually, no, because now people are going to be bummed out they can't run past Jeff and point and laugh, and so now it's not going to work for them.
Actually, Jeff beat a fair amount of those people out there. So, I completely understand Tuscaloosa, and we'll miss you, but we'll catch you at the next race.
All right, Eric. Well, hey, thanks for jumping on the show, buddy. Have a great race tomorrow. It should be great weather. And everybody out there, if you get a chance, come out. You don't even have to be a runner, right? You can walk if you want to be a walker.
Absolutely. Over 50% of the field will just be out there walking.
Awesome.
All right. Well, one more time, just let everyone know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Eric. One more time, just let everybody know where to get involved if they want to jump in the race.
Okay. ccc10k.com. Go to the Fall Classic on our homepage. Hit register now, or like I said, come on out tomorrow morning, and we'll be taking registrations on race day.
All right, that's Eric Stewart with the Fall Crescent City Classic coming up tomorrow morning in City Park. Eric, appreciate the time, and have a good race. Awesome, good deal.
Safe travels, guys. Be good.
You got it.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, that's Eric Stewart from the Fall Crescent City Classic. Obviously, always anytime you mention that, everyone's radar peaks because it's the biggest race in New Orleans every year. And then you do the fall, and then you got the 10K in the spring, and look, it attracts thousands and thousands of people.
Well, you know, I was looking forward to running in that race. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to because I've always run at Audubon Park. That's always been my route. I've run for 20 years. Now, potentially, if I do end up moving to the View, I will be running in City Park. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to a new route, finding some new trails.
Yeah, you'll get some hills in Lakeview, that's for sure.
Really?
Cracked pavement and, streets that aren't, fully just straight and narrow. So you get like a high intensity interval training workout.
Come on, it's like that up down. It's not like the roads up down are smooth.
That's also true.
My old street, I used to live on Burdett Street in the River Bend. There was at least 8 different kinds of asphalt patches on that street. I mean, it was amazing. You could just see over the years. Here we are. I'm venturing into rant territory again. But I would run down the street and just look at all the different patches. There was like shells. One year they used shells. One year they used a certain kind of asphalt. The other years it was like this white consistency of patching, and none of it adhered. They all crumbled, and then it was just this big hodgepodge of crumbled up gravel. It was just brutal.
Here's Jeff again running for mayor. His what is it?
Fix the potholes.
Fix the pothole platform. The pothole platform. There's Jeffrey one more time. So why don't we take a break right here on the show? When we get back, we'll actually talk sports, I think. Hashtag stick
Maybe. But if we can try not to, I think we can try to do that too.
Stick to sports. Let's do that. Look, Jeff, let's touch on the LSU game. Look, we've talked a lot about it this week. Let's touch on it. in the first hour before we have Jim Derry on coming up in about 20 minutes. We'll have Jim Derry on to talk prep football because in 11 o'clock hour we're going to go heavy Saints NFL. So let's get our mini breakdown of LSU Bama. Let's do that next. Here, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
I got it real bad.
Todd's like
Your forecast on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
This report is brought to you by
It is gravely important.
Happy Friday from the Fox 8 Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Shelby Latino. Temperatures will climb into the low to mid 80s this afternoon with partly cloudy skies. And overnight, we'll see temperatures dropping into the 60s, allowing for more morning fog tomorrow. We'll see highs climbing into the mid 80s for your Saturday and Sunday with mostly sunny skies and some morning fog. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shelby Latino. Have a great day.
Download the McDonald's app and get a free large soft drink with any purchase every week. And right now, get any size soft drink or sweet tea for just $1 anytime at McDonald's. Limited time. Participation may vary. See mcdapp.com for details. McDonald's. I'm loving it.
One of the young superstars in the NFL has seen his season come to an end. Texans quarterback
All right, 2 minutes.
tore ACL during practice on a non-contact play. Watson.
When are we bringing on Derry?
I think at
Will now take over at QB for
45.
Colts quarterback.
Do we have anybody else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right.
A partially torn labrum in his throwing shoulder. The Jets defeated the Bills in the Thursday night game 34-21. Todd Bowles' team now 4-5.
What was that about?
7 points, 5 points, 3 points to come back on a Thursday on a short week before you get a week.
I can't find a parking spot.
Needed to get the
When does Derry come on?
New York, Josh McCown passed for one and ran for a second. The Angels give Justin Upton a new 5-year deal worth $106 million. From the NBA, Damian Lillard hit a three-pointer with 0.7 of a second left as the Blazers beat the Lakers 113-110. That's sports. Frank Arity, NBC News Radio.
Martha Stewart has an overabundance of self-confidence.
You wrote in your high school yearbook, I do as I please, and I do it with
Cool
ease.
stat
A little bit
from the Utah Jazz.
In retrospect.
Donovan Mitchell, rookie guard from Louisville,
Her marriage was
scored 28 points off the bench. First Jazz rookie to score that many points since Darrell Griffith had 37 on Halloween in 1980. Another Louisville great.
Eastern, 5 Pacific, and again at 11 p.m. Eastern. 8
The Bird Brains play tonight.
Yeah, they do. They start a 4-game road swing at Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, we should mention that, yeah.
Do we have to?
And
Yes.
This is important to us because you get the feeling.
Did you see
that-
Fletcher's Twitter rant on the
Yeah,
Pelicans?
I called him yesterday on my way home just to.
Oh, yeah, y'all friends again?
Yeah, we're back being friends.
Y'all friends? Ooh. Is this like an on-again, off-again, like friendship?
We got
Friendship
into
kind of
it.
thing?
There was like a camera hit me in the back of the head, and then he started draping a cord over my head.
5 a.m.
And the
When
Cam
you hear the
Jordan
keyword,
like
texted to 200
scrum.
Okay.
And we got into it. I
Okay,
got
cool.
into it.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, 'cause
he
again-
he apologized.
That's good.
Here we go.
Orleans.
How do you like me now? How do you like me now? Now that I'm on my
We
way.
bleed purple, green, blue, black, and gold. Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Country Fried Friday here on Dunc and Holder. I feel like I need to go and get some dip and put it in my mouth just to like fit in on the show on Fridays.
No, you shouldn't do that because I mean that's not good for your health. It's not
Dip
good for
spit.
that's not good for optimal gum health and tooth health.
Isn't that a Blake Shelton line? Chew tobacco, chew tobacco, chew tobacco, spit.
Yes.
What? What just happened? You're on your way to probably chew tobacco, spit Tuscaloosa here later on today. And Jeff, I do question, why are you even going? This is going to be a blowout. Why are you even wasting your time going up there to see LSU get pulverized and then turn right back around and come to the Dome on Sunday and see a competitive game where the Saints should win? Why are you doing this to yourself?
I think the LSU-Alabama game will be more competitive than the Saints-Bucks game.
Really?
I think the Saints are going to seal club the Tampa Bay Bucks.
So violent.
I was about to say, PETA does not
PETA
like
is not going to enjoy
your
that.
reference.
They're going to woodshed whip them. And I think LSU, I like the way they're going into this game. I like the way Ed Ogeron's handled the week. And I like what I'm hearing from the players. Now, they got to execute. I mean, this is It's one thing to want to compete. It's another thing to be able to against Alabama in that environment. But Alabama's won 6 in a row. I think LSU's going to rise up and play them tough, just like they did a year ago. It's going to be a defensive game. I'm confident that LSU's defense can keep them in the game. The offense just cannot give them anything cheap, and that's one thing Danny Etling does a good job of. Like we said, 1 turnover all year for him.
Well, I do think if you look at an Alabama schedule, and LSU has got to be the toughest team that they've played so far, and there's a reason why. Look, when we had Dennis Dodd on from CBSSports.com, national college football columnist yesterday, and there's a reason why he put Georgia above Alabama, and there's a reason why the voters in the college football playoff poll rankings put Georgia above Alabama, because Georgia's got that signature win at Notre Dame. They've played a tougher schedule. And this is going to be something to where I know that LSU, their players, Coach O, just talking when we had a chance to catch up with him, where were we at? Walk-ons,
yes.
when we caught up with him, you and me, and did an interview with him. He brought up this game. Everybody knows that this is the game of the year for LSU, regardless of the record, because of the Nick Saban ties, and of course just because they're always the top dog in the SEC. And you look at this game, and Jeff, even though I kid that I think LSU will lose by 40,
Jesus,
sort of kid, but I'm kind of leaning more toward this is going to be kind of a knockdown, drag out, slobber knocker as my term of the week. I think it's going to be that sort of game, and who knows? I mean, if you get a big play from someone, say DJ Chark or Russell Gage, you get a big play from one of those two guys, and you kind of, lack of a better term, you kind of give Alabama a punch in the mouth, and they haven't really been punched in the mouth this year.
No, I mean, Texas A&M kind of gave them a little bit of a battle, but that was a good example. A&M was in that game for a while, and they were able to take advantage of a Alabama turnover. That's what LSU has to somehow do. They have to get an easy score, maybe get a short field. They're not going to drive 80 yards on this defense. It's just not going to happen. Very few teams do.
They might once, maybe.
They might get like a big play.
Right.
Right. That's what they need. They need one of those guys like Russell Gage, DJ Chark. I don't know about Geis. But Geis, get him out in space. I think Matt Canada can do that. I think they've got a better shot just because Matt Canada is a coordinator than what they've had in the past, because they were so pedestrian on offense. If you were an LSU fan, I just feel like you had no shot to win a game against Alabama with the lack of creativity in their offense.
Yeah, and we've been saying this all week. They've got really nothing to lose. They're a heavy underdog, the heaviest underdog they've been in umpteen years. And why not just lay it all out, pull out every wild play you've got in the playbook, and make Alabama think, as opposed to they probably didn't have to think in the last few years, because it's run headfirst into the line, lean on Leonard Fournette, and it's something that I don't think they're going to do this time. Even though they have Darius Geis, I know how much they love Darius Geis, they're still going to be creative, and why not just lay it all out there?
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose,
New Orleans,
as Ron said yesterday, and I like the way they're going into the game. Now we'll see if they can block and tackle up front, because that's the key to the game.
Absolutely. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved, and let's hit the phone lines. Al in New Orleans. Al, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got this morning?
I look for LSU to screw up the entire college football season. They're going to beat Alabama.
So you're pulling the upset.
Yeah, what we're talking about the last 5 or 6 years, you would think that all those games were slaughtered, right? Alabama just pounded LSU to death. LSU could have won half of those games easily. Not that history matters. History doesn't matter, because it's every year it's new. But to just surrender, the people are surrendering the whole situation like Alabama's a cinch, and they're not a cinch. They get bogged. Have you ever seen them play where they get bogged down sometimes? Have you ever seen that?
Sure, they definitely have.
Have you ever seen the quarterback drop back to pass, roll to the right, fall on the ground? See, that happened plenty of times. He is not capable, I don't care what anybody says, of coming back when he has to pass. The key for Alabama is they only pass when they don't have to pass. But when he's got to drive him down the field, he's not that accurate.
But Al, in Tuscaloosa, they have pretty much controlled things in Tuscaloosa. I mean, the last time it was really competitive was when LSU won there in 2011. The last few times I've been over there, Alabama's just worn them down. Now it's been competitive at halftime, but they just get worn down because the offense doesn't stay on the field long enough, and then the defense wears down, and then it ends up being kind of a lopsided margin at the end. They've got to avoid that. They've got to put some drives together and keep their defense off the field.
They have to really believe they can win instead of just doing it with the mouth. That's what I say.
Al, that's exactly right. Yes, they got to believe. Jeff brought that up earlier this week. That he gets the sense that at least people outside the program don't believe they can win. And we've talked to plenty enough people this week that there's a sense that they know what they're going against, but they feel like, hey, let's just go out there and give it a fight and see what happens. So it's not like they don't believe that they can win. They're up for the challenge. I think that's a better way to look at it.
I think that overall, I'm not talking about quality of athletes. The bigger play people are LSU. The receivers, Ridley's good, but the receivers from Alabama, from LSU are good. You throw the ball up there and let them fight, but let them fight for it. They're going to be right in the game, and their defense is going to hold Alabama. I don't know why it's just me, but in every talk show from here to Japan, they figure that LSU has no chance to win, which is not true. They're going to fight like dogs. They're tough. Are they going to get worn down? I don't know. That depends on LSU's ability to stop them. The greatest asset of a defense is what? Your offensive line. Can you maintain possession of the ball when you have the ball and wind the clock down? This is not a gimme. And I've seen Alabama. What was another flaw of Alabama? In the return game, the punts and kickoffs. They're very inadequate in that situation. The pass rush is not on the edge. It's not as ferocious as it was last year. And if you give Epling any time to pass, he's accurate enough to do it. I think he's a more accurate passer than the quarterback for Alabama. Would you agree?
I don't know if I agree, but I do agree that, look, he needs time to throw. And obviously the offensive line for LSU has been banged up. They're hoping to get all these guys back. That would be a big plus. Hey, Al, appreciate the phone call. Great insight. And, look,
Al's confident.
I don't think he's alone. Look, I do think that LSU fan out there feel like they could go in there and, like I said, we joked earlier this week, and I don't even think I made the joke, but someone made the joke that it was U.S. versus Russia 1980. Do you believe in miracles? I don't think it's that bad. But, look, I do think that LSU, at least with Coach O and the players, they at least have the mindset that they're not going to go in and get trucked. Look, they're still LSU. They feel like they're still a top-tier program, and they can go give Alabama all that they can handle, honestly.
Well, if you're looking for a glass half full, which I know you always are.
I love it.
Clearly.
Actually, I love panic more than glass half full.
You do love that too.
Yeah, we should
Panic and derision.
Rename this the Panic Room with
that
Larry.
would, yeah.
But if you're looking for a glass half full and a sign of encouragement, the last time they were this big an underdog was 1993 against Alabama, and they won the game, 17-14. So there you go.
1993. Who was the coach? Was that Curley?
I don't know who LSU's coach was.
Had to have been Curley.
It was Gene Stallings was coaching the Crimson Tide.
Yeah,
not the dictator.
93 had to have been Curley. That was before DiNardo.
I think it was Curley, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Which Curley didn't win too many games, so the fact that he got that one, that's a plus, so that's good.
Well, I always loved Curley
Still
Hallman.
ran him out.
He came every year to the Louisiana Sports Writers Association convention every year and hung out and drank beer with everybody.
So that's why everyone gave him a pass when he was just very.
That's why he probably got
less than
he
mediocre.
got an extra year.
Yeah, he would.
the public pressure wasn't on him
until something mishap. It was like, until multiple losses towards the end, they were like, all right, dude, we can't. We're sorry.
You would keep Curley an extra year over Uncle Les for next year.
Let's just say that Nick Saban wasn't coming to the LSWA convention and hanging out. Didn't happen.
No.
He told me that when I was on the beat was when Nick Saban was hired, and I had a one-on-one interview with him. And he asked me after the interview, he said, I'm going to shut the door. I want to ask you some questions now. It was really interesting. So I was like, okay. And he asked me why I thought LSU had never won consistently. He wanted to know, and he was surveying everybody that he could, trying to find out what was holding the program back. And I thought it was fascinating. But he did tell me in that conversation, I think I can share it now because its statute of limitations is up, that he was going to do the crawfish boils and the glad handing for a year and then that was it. He was not going to go back and do any more crawfish bowls.
That's about right.
Well, he at least immediately he did turn it around. Look, what was it, 8-4 his first year, and so at least he turned it around with the players that all quit on DiNardo by the end. That was a joke by the end.
Yeah,
I was in college at that time.
That last year with DiNardo was brutal. And they had we talked to Ryan Clark earlier. I mean, Ryan Clark, that team had a lot of talent.
NOLA East.
But there was a black cloud hanging over their head the whole year.
Everyone knew it was the end, and they gave up. Let's get the phone lines again. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. DJ in NOLA East. DJ, thanks for calling in, my friend.
Hey,
how are you?
Hey, Larry and Jeff.
Hey, DJ.
I kind of concur with the last caller. I heard Jeff Landry earlier in the week talking about LSU and Alabama, and one of the things that he was talking about was that LSU has, 5-star and 4-star talent also. It's just that the depth isn't, as quantifiable as Alabama's. And I too think that, their defense probably is almost as healthy as it's been all year, with Arden Key coming back and, they're saying he's ready to play. And I think also that LSU is going to give Alabama a tough fight. I just can't see the defense folding, like it did early in the year. And I think that, if they get a break or two, an interception, fumble, those kind of things can turn those games around. And I just think that they have a good chance this weekend.
Hey, DJ, appreciate the phone call. And, yeah, look, you talk to the people who cover the team and you look at the results, and it seems daunting, obviously, for LSU. But this is still LSU. It's not like they're gonna walk in and just be completely overwhelmed, and I just don't expect that. But I don't know, how good is this Alabama team? I don't think we've seen the giant scores. I don't think we actually really know how good they are because they haven't played.
But how will we
major quality opponents? We're
and
probably not going to know
until they play Georgia,
exactly,
or Auburn. Yes.
Well, this will be the challenge. Then when they play Auburn, that will be one, and then they're going to obviously play Georgia in the SEC title game. So that's when you're going to see, because Florida State's a shell of itself.
Right.
They were better than Florida State. We know that, but they got the quarterback hurt. Now Florida State is just kind of a doormat to everybody.
I don't want to kill the positive vibes because I know a lot of people. And look, for me, I say I'm not going to kill. No, I'm not. I'm not going to kill the positive vibes. I'm not. The only thing that I want people to think about regarding the game and going into Saturday is, for me, I feel like this offense is better than it was last year. My concern is that I don't think the defense is nearly as capable as it was last year. I mean, just specifically talking about the guys that we're going to talk about, especially when we get to Saints coverage: Kendall Beckwith, Jamal Adams, Devon Godchow, guys like that, Tre'Davious White.
Alabama had the same thing.
I know. No, what I'm saying is that specifically in terms of matchups, like in terms of the matchup, that game was 0-0 going into the fourth, and then they got a field goal, then a touchdown, and it ended up being 10-0. My concern this year is that I worry that it's going to need to, and this is why you bring Matt Canada in as your coordinator for a game like this. If you're going to throw the kitchen sink, which I'm all about, I'm hoping he pulls out every jet sweep, every motion, every lineman, whatever it is.
And if it fails, so what?
If it fails, so what?
You at least doing something different.
Does not get fooled on that stuff.
No, they don't.
They're very sound.
But I think this offense actually has a better shot. Like our callers have called, literally, I think the wide receivers are going to be a big play in this, and I also think that Darius Geis will have a much better game in this game than Leonard Fournette had in the last couple of games, because I think that wide receiver play, those players on the edge, will actually do a better job of opening up and spreading them out.
Well, he won't have to do much to have a better game than Fournette.
That's also true.
I mean, if
they score 1 point, that's better than last year.
If he falls forward for a yard, he's going to have a better game than Fournette, because he was getting hit in the backfield every time he got the ball.
And he was coming.
And I also think, look, Ron Higgins brought this up, and let's take a break right here on the show. Ron Higgins brought this up yesterday. Darius Geis has really never played against Alabama. It's always been Leonard Fournette, and he did not really play. He took 2 carries, I think, what Ron said last week. Last year, Ron said yesterday. So, yeah, it should be a new, interesting dynamic. Let's take a break right here on the show. When we get back, Jim Derry, Preps Guru, final week of the regular season for prep football. Plenty of big-time matchups. So we will talk with Jim Derry coming up here next. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder. dip spit. I love me some dip spit.
Scorty.
Red neck.
Chew the back and chew the back and chew the back and spit.
Spit and dip and spit. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
He's got a lot of
Blake Shelton, man.
guys, and guys
Yeah, that's right. You don't like him because he's got your woman.
No, he doesn't. He did, and then he screwed it up by going with a woman of lesser value.
He's got Courtney Love now.
Gwen Stefani.
Well, Gwen Stefani. I always get those two mixed up.
What are you talking about?
How do you get Gwen Stefani and
Clay
Courtney Love?
Travis.
To this microphone.
How do you get Gwen Stefani and
There's too much screaming in my ears. I'm like,
that sound earlier, by the way. You were doing something.
This is just like Clyde pisses off everyone.
And now Derry's coming on. Jeez.
No. I have the first question for Derry, and the question is, I'm leaving after this is over. Where are we going to get early dinner before this game tonight?
Oh yeah, because y'all are thick as thieves.
Oh yeah. Had a long one last night. Boy, Carr routed Warren Easton. It was bad.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my God.
Easton did not.
Carr's so good, man.
Carr's always good.
Let
me tell you, when I wrote a column on Deion Jones and his parents last year.
Oh yeah.
They were telling me how bent Carr was that Debo went to Jesuit instead of Carr.
Wow.
Carr was way bent.
7 years. Tickets go on sale
Well, bit
November
me.
10th.
They were
Sammy Hagar.
Urban Dictionary, Jeff. Let's look it up.
Halen reunion.
That's old.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's so nice that the guy from Quest City
When can I go on my
Classic.
crotchety rant?
Yeah, dude. Start top of the 11 o'clock hour, I
Are we
think.
getting Derry now?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay. I mean, shut.
Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks.
Love to do
Dave,
Golly gee.
you too, man.
He's over it. That's entertainment. Jennifer Bolsoni, NBC News Radio.
When you sponsor through Inbound, you not only open the door.
Rip on YouTube. I'm pretty sure. I'm hoping he's talking about. I'm always talking about Blake Shelton. Says country's Nickelback. I'm hoping he's talking about Blake Shelton. I really hope he's talking about Blake Shelton.
Could be. I will
Either
say
they were
this.
Florida Georgia Line. Either way, it works.
I will say this. I was listening to 101 yesterday, and they're like, "This is the world premiere of Blake Shelton." And I turned the channel. I was like, "I don't want to hear it."
Fair.
Shoot it back.
I just want to know if Blake Shelton's listening to a lot more No Doubt these days than he used to, because I'm sure he was listening to Gwen Stefani and No Doubt then.
Hey, Clyde, don't speak.
Of the predicted one.
All right, we got Derry.
I know.
get it?
What
Do we have to have
saying.
Is making the
get
jump
it.
to your
Could you,
iPhone.
could you lose
I
Derry?
appreciate that. I
Grammar
appreciate
helper
that.
for your version of its service in the form of an
Shout out to
iPhone
Rip. Shout out to all our YouTubers today. We love you guys.
Errors
Shout
as you
out.
type and
You always
offers up
just shout out.
suggestions.
He
Apple's
wants
That's
to
what all the
be.
cool kids say.
He wants to be in this middle chair on the camera.
That's
so
not
bad.
true. I don't. That's not enough space for me.
man.
That's not
In the
enough
new
space
batch,
for
there are
me.
new expressions,
Quiet dedication.
dinosaurs, a love you gesture, fortune
long
cookie,
distance
and
request
of course
and
there's a
dedication.
hedgehog. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC News Radio.
Put $1,000 in your hand. Win
Love to.
$1,000.
My friend is
every
in
hour,
prison,
up to
and
16
I'm gonna send
times
out
a
this
day,
song.
Weekdays, starting at 5 a.m. When you
It's
hear the keyword
from Journey,
text it
Don't
to
Stop
200.
Believing.
10 seconds.
Listen all day for a chance to put $1,000 in your hand.
Shut up.
Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Clyde's losing it, Cal. Called you Coach Cal.
This is Duncan Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back to the show. Big weekend in prep football. Final regular season weekend in the prep scene. And, of course, no one else can cover it like Jim Derry of NOLA.com, the Times Picayune. Jim, last night you had a good one. Carr took it to Warren Easton. Obviously, big matchup, big win for Carr. Just break that down real quick before we get started in the rest of the weekend's matchups.
A shocking game last night. Not shocking that Carr won, but in the fashion that they won, and just completely, I mean, they destroyed Warren Easton last night. I think Easton ran, we talked about it last night during the broadcast, and Coach Sell pointed out that I think they ran 5 or 6 plays in Carr territory. And, the Carr defensive front was absolutely phenomenal last night, as was quarterback Skylar Perry. And Carr is now shown that they are the best team in Class 4A without a shadow of a doubt.
Jim, Big game tonight. Yeah, Jim, big game tonight. Where are you going? You're heading to the North Shore, right?
Yeah, Clyde's gonna leave your studios and come up to the North Shore, and we're gonna be doing Mandeville and Covington tonight. Regis Radiator NOLA.com game of the week. Second game of the week is a big one on the North Shore, and we haven't been on the North Shore this year. Mandeville comes in at 4-4, but they're winners of 3 in a row, and they are on a hot streak. They beat St. Paul's last week, who they've just struggled over the past decade plus with. And they come in hot, and they're going to face a Covington team. They're going to try to pull another upset. Covington comes in at 9-0, and they're trying to finish undefeated in the regular season for the first time in 29 years. And really even more significant than that, besides the fact that Covington's trying to finish undefeated and finish in the top 5 in Class 5A in seeding, Covington is the final home game for the best running back that's ever stepped foot on that school grounds, and they've been playing football since the 20s. So Devin Brumfield plays his final regular season game tonight, and he started since he was a freshman. He's been a force. He's been a fantastic running back, and I need to look it up to see exactly how many yards he needs to get to 6,000, but I think he's within reach tonight of doing that. He needs about 150, 160 yards to do that, and he could do it tonight. And their quarterback, they have the best running back that's ever played for them. Well, Joshua Alfaro, their quarterback, has the most passing yards in school history as well. So a very balanced Covington offense against a team that's maybe one of the hottest in the metro area, and one I'm sure that none of those top seeds in 5A want to play next week.
Yeah, another big game on the North Shore, JD. Lakeshore at Salmon, District 8 4A championship game.
Yeah, it's interesting. My friend over at the Advocate, David Foltz, and I were talking this morning.
Wait. You're not supposed to say we're friends with anyone at the Advocate. That you just got fired.
Oh, gosh, come on.
Marcus Carmesh just fired you.
We're all friends behind the scenes. But we were talking this morning, and we were both wondering aloud, when's the last time that 2 North Shore teams finished the regular season undefeated? And there's a very good chance it happens tonight. Lakeshore, they're both playing tough teams. The Lakeshore comes in at 9-0. They have already won more games this season than they've won in their short school history. They've only been around for, I believe, this is their 8th year. And they're 9-0, playing Salmon, who's 8-1. Salmon's reliving their glory days. They haven't been this good since 2000, maybe 2004. They haven't been this good. So Jerry Leonard has got his team back to where they won. This was kind of the season he's been looking toward. He's got a very senior-heavy team. There's going to be a lot of emotions tonight over at Salmon. As in fact, Jerry Leonard, his son L.J. Leonard, is the quarterback, and tonight's his last regular season game at home. So lots of things going on in the North Shore tonight. We'll be keeping a close eye on that one, and Salmon is number 9 in the power ratings right now. And a friend of mine, in fact, Coach Ladd texted me this morning, who's going to be on the broadcast with me tonight as my color analysis guy. And he called and he said that they've done the math and they think that if Lakeshore wins, that they're going to be the top seed in 4A. So I guess it's possible math-wise, because I'm not a math genius. Be quiet, Dave. I'm not a math genius, but maybe they will be. I thought it was for sure thing that Carl would get it if they beat Easton last night, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when the pairings come out, and we'll have to wait and see if Lakeshore actually beats Salmon. So it should be an interesting game out in Slidell tonight. We got one in Slidell, one in Covington. We'll be watching it for you.
All right, I'm going to skip over Raider Pride, so I'll go to your number 5 game. Landry Walker and Chalmette. Landry Walker 6-0 in district, Chalmette 5-1, big time matchup.
Yep. Yeah, and it is. And if you didn't bring it up, I was going to bring it up before I got off the show. This to me is a huge matchup, and it seems if you just look at it on the periphery that Landry Walker should win it easily. But look, Chalmette beat them 2 years ago at home in a similar situation, except it wasn't at the end of the regular season. It was like week 5 or week 6, something like that. And Chalmette quote unquote shocked the world and beat Landry Walker, and then we know how good
3 minutes.
John Thompson, who is maybe the best quarterback that this metro area has seen in the last 10 to 20 years. And, who knows? This game is for the District 8 5A championship in a sense. If Chalmette wins tonight and Everett were to win, there'd be a three-way tie at the top of District 8 5A, and they don't use tiebreakers in the LHSA, another silly rule that it just everything ends in a tie because we've got to get as many trophies as we can get. Another story for another day. But Landry Walker, looking after the 0-3 start, they're 6-3. They've won all their district games, and look, they're going to be charged up and fired up tonight to try to keep that going and try to finish 7-3 and win that district undefeated again.
JD, real quick, last game, we have to talk about Rummel St. Aug, as much as Larry doesn't want to.
Yeah, we do.
Two disappointing teams, but a lot on the line.
Look, I'm not trying to make Larry feel better about himself. I do that about once a year, and I've already done it this year. So Rummel, though, really is in a decent position. And they are right now, they're sitting at the 7th seed in Division I. If they can win this game against St. Aug, they'll end up probably 6 or 7, possibly even 5, although I think Brother Martin's got that pretty much locked up. We'll see. But if you finish in the top 8, you get a home game in the first week, and if you finish, if they can finish 7, they'll avoid the 1 seed until the championship game. So, which would be John Curtis, and who knows? So Rummel needs to win this game. St. Aug, conversely, has looked. Salt and I talked about this last night. St. Aug has looked fantastic one week, and then they've looked terrible the next. So we don't know which St. Aug team is going to show up. And Rummel is starting to feel a little bit better about where they are right now. And look, they still have a fantastic quarterback in Chandler Field, and maybe their best receiver in the state in Jamar Chase. So I wouldn't be kicking the Raiders to the curb just yet. I think that's a team that can make a move in the playoffs if they can gain confidence in themselves.
40 seconds.
And that's why tonight is so big for them, because they really need to win this game to go into the playoffs with some confidence and make themselves feel like they can win.
All right, that's Jim Derry, NOLA.com, Times Picayune, Preps Guru.
Larry, before you let me go,
Hurry.
I got to tell you, I think that it's Fantasy Friday, not Country Fried Friday. Tomorrow's ugly.
15 seconds.
There we go.
Throw that in there.
All right, good deal. Well, Jim Derry will be at Mandeville at Covington, game of the week.
See you in a few, bud.
Regis Radiator, NOLA.com, Prep game of the week. So hour number 1 is up. Appreciate the time, Jim. Hour number 2 on the way. Here, come on back. Duncan Holder.
Bet you didn't know this.
Fantasy
Broadcast
Friday.
radio reaches more people in America than TV.
What is he talking about?
FM radio, the radio that's free in your car, your kitchen, your office. Broadcast radio reaches more adults, teens, and millennials. More of everyone. More shoppers. Broadcast radio reaches 93% of Americans every week. That's bigger than TV, Facebook, and Google. If you're a marketer who needs to reach new fans, visit iHeartMedia.com for the one place everyone is listening. AM, FM radio.
On the next episode
time
of
for
the
it sounds like a tinkle. It sounds time for a tinkle break.
Sits down with multi-platinum Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Demi Lovato. The two talk about everything from life in the spotlight and social media to mental illness and personal life. Ariana and Demi also chat about Demi's new album, Tell Me You Love Me, and documentary Simply Complicated. The Thrive Global podcast is sponsored by Sleep Number. The Sleep Number bed adjusts on each side, so it is perfect for both you and your partner. Experience the Sleep Number bed exclusively at one of their 550 stores nationwide. Check them out at sleepnumber.com/thrive.
WODT WNOE FM HD2 New Orleans. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app. Search Sports 1280. Fox Sports trending now.
Dallas Cowboys got some good news this morning. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals granted running back Ezekiel Elliott an administrative stay regarding his suspension. He will now be allowed to play Sunday against the Chiefs for Jason Garrett's Cowboys.
He's obviously a really good football player. He's been a big part of what we've done since we got him last year. I feel very confident in the other running backs that we have on our team, so we feel good about what their roles are. But certainly he helps us. He's been very productive for us from the first game he's played. He's been playing awfully well here of late, and excited to have him back.
Heading south from Dallas on I-45, the team in Houston not happy, though. Texans rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson tore his ACL during Thursday's practice. He is done for the season. Tom Savage moves into the role of starting quarterback for Houston. The Texans signed free agent quarterback Mac McGloin to back up Savage. 49ers receiver Pierre Garçon done for the season with a neck injury. I'm Deb Carson.
No longer any doubt, Fed Chair Janet Yellen is out. President Trump is nominating current Fed Governor Jerome Powell to replace Yellen when her term expires in February. Powell praised both Yellen and former Fed Chair Ben Bernanke in their sense of public service.
Inside the Federal Reserve, we understand that monetary policy decisions matter for American families and communities. I strongly share that sense of mission, and I'm committed to making decisions with objectivity, based on the best available evidence, in the long-standing tradition of monetary policy independence.
Powell's been a Fed member for 5 years. Investors in home building
no,
is giving
Jim,
an initial
no.
down to the House Republican tax plan because of its
of course, you wanted to agree. I'm like, I'm not engaging in that conversation.
Existing mortgage holders, but new mortgages would only be deductible up to $500,000.
Love it.
That's just one provision of a tax plan touted by Texas Republican Kevin Brady, who chairs Ways and Means.
This is in America. This is our opportunity to make tax reform a reality and deliver the most transformational tax cuts in a generation. So let's not let Washington's special interests, the TV pundits, or the pessimists fool you.
By the way,
None of them
Larry,
thought
someone
we'd even
on
get
YouTube
this far
has
with
said,
tax
hold on, I
reform,
gotta find it.
and they're wrong.
Semiconductor
Sean Owen
maker
says, Larry, my
Broadcom
buddy
is
saw you
moving
at the
back
gym
to the
yesterday,
U.S.
but I
from
couldn't
Singapore.
explain to him
They
how to yell the
manufacture
Halloween
technology and parts.
Come on.
Over 7,500 American workers in many states across our country. We're looking forward to seeing that number grow very substantially.
President Trump joining Broadcom Chief Executive Officer Hawk Tan at the Oval Office announcement this week. Broadcom already calls San Jose, California its co-headquarters. Check the fire extinguisher in your home. Nearly 38 million kid brand extinguishers are being recalled in the U.S. because versions with the plastic handle and plastic push button could fail to discharge and the nozzle could detach in an actual fire emergency. Kid has almost 400 reports of that actually happening. Consumer and business news. Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
Wine on the River, presented by Southern Glazers, WGNO TV ABC, and NOLA 38, the CW. Saturday, November 11th at Audubon Aquarium Plaza from 3 to 6. Limited VIP and general admission on sale now at wineontheriver.NOLA.com. Proceeds benefit the Louisiana Hospitality Foundation.
I wrote too much yesterday. 2,500 words.
That's a lot of
Beyonce
words.
starring
That's a
in the
lot
upcoming
of
live-action
When I was
version
done,
of The
I
Lion
was like,
King.
wow.
Disney
I mean,
revealing
yeah,
the
I mean,
entire cast, announcing she'll be
it's
playing the
definitely
role of
informative, but I'm just
Nala.
like, whoa.
Donald Glover will star as Simba. James Earl Jones, who was a voice actor
Well,
in
part
the
of it is
original
basically like
animation,
my
will be
topper
back
and my
as
second
Mufasa,
item.
the movie
Right.
expected to be
Or
released
just
in
equal length.
2019.
Usually that's not the case. Because what I did was,
House of
because we
Cards
didn't
star
write
Kevin
like
Spacey
what Colnick
seeking
said on the
treatment
interview
after
last week. So I
further
was like,
allegations
let me
of
put it in
sexual
because
assault.
makes sense.
That's
Yeah,
according to
Carl's
the two-time
great, and I was
Academy
like,
Award
I wanna
winner's
get it out there.
publicist,
Yeah.
actor Anthony Rapp, the first of now a few
And of course,
men
'cause what, we
accusing
didn't have
Spacey
until
of
Friday.
sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Spacey publicly
Because
apologized.
normally if we would have had him Thursday, I'd have wrote it
didn't
than
remember
last
the
week.
I've got a minute and a half.
Okay,
And
cool. You have that
suspension
Vaccaro
of
interview I sent you, right?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. All right, cool.
As
We'll
a result,
do that at next
Brooks
segment, like
announcing his
11:20.
very last North
It's like 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
tour.
cool.
The final show will be played in Music City December 16th. It's the first time Garth will play at Bridgestone Arena in 7
Jeff
years.
needs a
Tickets
sneaky
go
leaker.
on sale November 10th.
We don't need people to try to figure out what Jeff
But then he'd
doing
be
at the table.
then he'd be tinkling on my shoe. Jeff, this is why we don't have nice things.
Because Eddie and Alex Van
It
Halen
wasn't me, because I was over here, bro, so don't get me into that.
Now you got the football, and you got me like on the. I'm like,
brothers on his 70th birthday, and says the
we're like,
silence
throw it
was
at the
a real
mic.
strong statement. He also said
That's what Clyde does.
Clyde's under the table.
Thing and it goes like,
That's
And he's under the table cracking his knuckles.
Yeah, in fact, we can do that right now.
at least he's not pouring
so
a big
good. So
glass
good.
of water
Gary
over there like
LaVox
you
here
do.
from Rascal Flatts.
Yes, it
Seems like there's never
sounded
enough
like so
time to get
loud.
done what you have to.
I know. When I did it yesterday, I was like, jeez, it sounded like I was pouring a beer or something.
The people
That's
you
what we
care
should have
about
done. We
most.
should have brought like
get the
Bloody
least of
Marys in
your
here
time.
today.
As
Not
you
a
say,
terrible idea.
don't forget
Not
the
a
people that
terrible
mean the most
idea.
to you.
If we ever
Your
get
friends,
like a remote on
family,
Friday, that's what we're
kids,
doing, like
or spouse. They need
Bloody
you.
Mary Friday.
It's a good reminder
go
for
for
me,
that.
and I hope for you too.
I could use a Bloody Mary right now.
All right, 10
A little
seconds.
too much
U.S.
red
Air
wine last
Force.
night.
A grand in your
play some
hand.
UB40.
God, what the hell?
Bless America.
Clyde skinning a cat.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Shut up, all of you.
Dunc and Holder, hour number 2. We're having way too much fun here with myself. Of course, I'm Larry Holder, Jeff Duncan, Clyde Verdun, and Dave back in the iHeart Studios. Having way too much fun here on a Friday. But look, it's an exciting sports weekend. Saints-Bucks. Saints could push their winning streak to 6 games and be 6-2 and maintain that lead in the NFC South because it's a critical weekend in the division already because Saints are playing Tampa. Carolina's playing Atlanta, so obviously there's going to be some moving and shaking within the division standings. And look, LSU's going to play Alabama, so big game, and Jeff will be at both games. Are you pulling the daily double?
Yeah, we're worried about you, bud.
Doubleheader. I'll be careening back towards New Orleans.
Which is what you want to say about a person that's going to cover a football game until probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, write a story, and drive through the middle of the night to get back here to cover another one.
Right. It's called commitment.
We've got the NOLA.com Times-Picayune chopper gonna take you from here to there.
No, but hey, we have forgotten about Tulane Cincinnati tomorrow, right?
Yes, big game here. Of course, you can hear that right here on your flagship station for Tulane football here on Sports 1280. Yeah, that's going to be a 3 o'clock kick, so it's going to be great weather. And a big game for Tulane. Like we both picked yesterday. I think all 3 of us picked Tulane to win this game. Look, they played well at home. And this is a big one. They need it. Yeah, Todd Graffagnini, the voice of the Tulane Green Wave, was on earlier this week, and he said it straight up. And, of course, as we know, Todd is never one to beat around the bush. They need it. So that's going to be a big game. If you want to go, it would be a perfect weekend to go. It'll be before LSU-Bama. Check it out. We love Ullman Stadium. We love going there. Look, I'm wearing my Angry Wave hat. That's how much I like that venue and like what they're doing over there with Coach Willie Fritz.
And, of course, tonight, the Pelicans back in action in Dallas. They've got to get a win against Dallas. Dallas is 1-8, I think. They got to get back on the right track. That's a team they should handle. Over in Dallas, you never know. I mean, they've lost there before. I think they lost there last year. And when,
if you look back
Dallas
at the stats,
was terrible.
Look at Dallas a lot. We've lost to Dallas a lot.
Does Dirk Nowitzki still play?
Yes, he still plays.
Yes.
Then why are they so bad?
He's 100 years old for one, and the rest of the roster is not very good. I think Harrison Barnes is there.
Mm-hmm.
They have an exciting rookie, Dennis Smith, the point guard from NC State, is an excellent player, but they just don't have enough around him. And let's face it, Dirk's just kind of playing out the string. He's going to retire soon.
He's not going to quit on a contract where that pays him money. Handsomely, I'm sure, so he's not going to quit on that.
But he has taken pay cuts to allow the Mavs to be able to work and move some of that money around to get other pieces around him. But yeah, this is like Dirk's swan song. We allow, we're gonna, because you want to keep him on the roster. You don't want him to go play anywhere else, and then eventually he'll become ambassador for the team and all that kind of stuff.
So he's like Jeter. He's kind of doing like the farewell tour, and everyone's like waving and saying hello, how are you?
Yeah.
But they've got to get a win tonight to keep pace in the West. I mean, it's just so competitive right now. They can't afford to lose games like this. And frankly, I mean, they just got to get some confidence back after losing those last 2 home games.
Speaking of, tonight's the first of a back-to-back. Tonight they're at Dallas. Tomorrow they're going to play the Bulls in Chicago. Then Tuesday at Indiana. And then next Thursday they are at the Raptors.
So you look at those next 3 games, all are winnable games, there's no doubt. But look, we've seen the Pelicans lose winnable games. So it's something that they've got to get themselves together, or honestly, I think after that last game, I think people just kind of started losing interest. I saw one very avid Pelicans follower, Fletcher Mackle, went on some gigantic Twitter raid.
We got to get Fletch on. Let's get him on. I'm
afraid to get him on.
Yeah, I think he should be.
He's going to drop F-bombs because he's so angry about the bird brains.
The Mackles are like that. But look, did you see the score, actually the final of the Warriors-Spurs game last night?
I did not, no.
So the Warriors won the game, I think, by 20, and they were down by 19 and came back and won by 20.
Pops got tossed from the game?
Yes. It was incredible
for
turnaround.
using some questionable language about an official.
Wait, didn't I see? I thought I saw something on Twitter where Steve Kerr dropped about 48 F-bombs, and everyone in America saw it.
He did, but Pops went that just.
Pops went even worse than Kerr?
He just went that little extra step to, make sure to point at an official that you are a bleeping terrible ref.
He treated the ref as if he were talking to his good buddy Donald Trump, who he hates with venom as well. Probably the same sort of language you would use.
Kind of like that, except, this was about a game and not about, American lives.
Well, Steve Kerr said earlier this week that Pops ought to run for president.
He should.
I think I might vote for Greg Popovich.
Here we go.
Seconded.
Pothole platform.
Does he do the pothole platform?
And the Spurs right now playing without Kawhi Leonard, so they're obviously not the same team without him. And he's a superstar MVP candidate, and they were no match for the Warriors, who are kind of getting back on track. I mean, they were scuffling a little bit earlier, but the Cavs are continuing to scuffle, and they got some problems.
Man, you keep bringing up the Cavs, man.
Well,
you're just a LeBron James hater.
No, I'm not. I have great respect for LeBron, but they are struggling, man. 3-5. They play at Washington tonight. They could be 3-6 very easily.
Well, they'll turn up the switch in January. It won't be a big deal.
Isaiah Thomas put out I think it was an Instagram post yesterday of it was a meme or something close, saying that just hold on, guys, I'm coming, or I'm working to come back. So
hold on for one more day.
Please, play that again at the end of the day, Dave. That'll at least be one good thing you've done today.
Man,
shots fired.
Good gosh!
Wow,
where'd that come from?
I know, right?
Kneecapped.
Look, he's taking so many shots at me today. It's been so bad, y'all.
It's an ambush.
The YouTube folks know full well.
The Lakeview ambusher.
I was about to say,
we still haven't talked about PBS yet.
We're gonna get there.
Oh my goodness,
my old crotchety man rant.
People
and my weird fascination.
Although me and Larry talked about this, apparently the only people that are going to know about and understand this rant are literally his immediate family.
My parents and my in-laws. And,
so
and
I cannot wait. And we are going to excoriate him.
You have to have a rant that the public can get behind.
Right.
Well, they
like gas pumps. Like gas pumps.
Yes, or slow left lane drivers.
They need to get behind this movement that I'm going to start.
What about the inconsiderate person in the grocery store that keeps their cart in the middle of the aisle?
That's
can't get by.
That's a great point.
Unaware Barry. That's what I call those people.
Mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I mean, what the hell is going on with this show?
I mean, move your cart out of the way. You're not the only person in the grocery store.
You know these aisles aren't that wide. Just push over to the side.
I can't get by with your cart.
Just like driving.
Move it out of the way.
I'm literally staring off into space right now.
The YouTubers can see that.
Blue-haired old lady talk? What's going on?
I am staring, Dave. I'm literally staring off into space.
No, it's the blue-haired old lady is the one with the cart in my way. She's the one with the cart taking up the entire grocery aisle.
Can someone just give me a spork from Popeyes that I could jab myself in the arm right now?
I don't know why you want to give yourself a bruise, dude. You know that's not going to do anything.
Looking at the different canned beans and looking at the cans and looking at the ingredients and spending
Fridays.
15 minutes to
so much.
Pick through the beans. Just pick the beans, put them in the cart, and get out of my way.
We could have ended this if you just gone on your rant and you haven't done it yet, and we have to talk about Saints, but you still haven't done it yet. So we're waiting on you.
I'm going to wait till the end of the show, and I'm going to turn off all of y'all's microphones.
Great. I'm just going to put my headphones on. All right, guys. Good night.
When are we doing picks?
How about around 11:30 if we ever get to that point, because we're going to be taken off the air from iHeart.
Time waits for no man.
I guess I've heard worse on radio, so this isn't the worst.
You ever heard Jim Derry?
Ooh! My word! Ooh! On that note, time for break. Let's talk with Kenny Vaccaro. No, I had an interview with Kenny Vaccaro earlier this week. Of course, Saints taking on the Bucks, and I wrote my first and 10 column leading it. It's almost like Kenny didn't even want me to write about him, because he brought off this vibe that people are talking about the defense now they're winning. Well, yeah, that's the way it goes, Kenny. So
he had that little attitude. He gets that attitude every once in a while.
So what, Kenny? I wrote about you. How you like that? So what? We're going to hear your interview. How you like that? We're talking about you because you're 5-2 and you're winning games, and that should be a good thing. So we'll catch up with my interview, short interview, about 3 minutes, with Kenny Vaccaro, and we'll talk Saints Bucks the rest of the show until I get on my rant. It's going to be glorious. So come on back here. Sports 1280. NOLA.com, iHeartRadio app, Country Fried Friday, and of course, if you missed any of the show, which has been insane today, sports1280.com, NOLA.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube page. So go check that out. So come on back here as Clyde's here, Jap's here, I'm here, Dave's there. We're everywhere, and we're Dunc and Holder.
I'd like for you to listen to a joke I heard today.
Your shot at $1,000 now. Text the keyword money to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply. That's money to 200-200.
Yes, thank you.
And stop.
Parked in the middle aisle. Right, thanks. You can relate. All right, so how can I find this stat?
Hard hit.
You're good at do a column next week. I got
This is
It's going to be timely.
The Cincinnati Bearcats come to town Saturday, November 4th. Catch all of the action right here on your home for the win.
Top 5
Sports 1280 New Orleans.
Any school ever had
where life expresses
here
as an endless flow of energy.
Of course he did. He's like, I'll look into it. I've never heard back from him. Todd didn't know. I called J-Mac. J-Mac asked Elias Sports.
Really?
They said, good luck.
Wow, really?
People do their holiday shopping on mobile than on desktop.
When Elias tells you good luck, you're in trouble.
Retail
That's
predictions.
true. That's also
And Cyber Monday is forecasted to be the largest online shopping day in history, with 6.6 billion in online sales.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you never watched the SEC story on it? It was really, it's really good.
That's a good how they all. That might be it.
Yeah, but were they all top 5?
Was he that high drafted?
Online holiday spending this year. Grammarly is making the jump to your iPhone.
That's good. That's why I called you in here, Jimbo, because he knows this stuff.
Of course he knows. Browser.
I would have never known that.
A mobile version
That's
of
pretty
excellent.
excellent. That's pretty good.
An iPhone keyboard app. The app like the browser.
Yeah, when they were scandal-free at that point.
Apple's final list of their brand new emojis that will be available to everyone in the iOS 11.1 update is out in the new batch.
Yeah, it was like, well, I'm going to play baseball now, guys. Good job, man. Yes.
Cookie. And of
He was
course,
the
there's
7th pick in the first round.
Tech Report.
So he was a top 5.
Oh, see, there you go. Nope.
Yeah,
not as good.
Your floors are under attack. From
Yeah. You didn't do anything, Jeff. Good job.
But the Home Depot has water-resistant.
It's like, winner.
Little salt, little pepper, starting at just $279 a square foot.
So that's my dance.
I think we've got like
24-hour spill protection.
It's like
stands up to liquids for a whole
the end of the
day
school
without
week and we're
damage.
ready to get the hell out of here.
That's also fair. I'm tired, y'all. It's been a long week.
Just $279 a square foot.
I'm looking forward to going to the game. I love going to Alabama LSU games.
Yeah, I love getting flipped off 2 years
folks.
ago.
Colonel Sanders from KFC here with some real news. My delicious world-famous original recipe fried chicken is available at a KFC near you. It has been and will be until the end of time.
Probably
no matter
not.
what's happening in the world, you can trust that my original recipe chicken is always made with 11 herbs and spices. Many unnamed sources agree.
Still have like
it's
number
delicious.
7 in his.
Get it in a KFC 10 seconds here and enjoy it with a friend. KFC, it's still finger-licking good. Limited time offer at participating KFCs. Prices may vary.
Saw
Tax
Mike
and
Silver was
substitutions
doing
extra.
something with him yesterday.
Somewhere. This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280 New Orleans.
Saints taking on the Bucks. Noon kickoff. Sunday midday in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And of course, look, the Saints defense, that's the main reason why this team is rebounding. I mean, everyone, we had USA Today columnist Jarrett Bell on. Of course, he's pointing to that specific reason. And of course, every one of us who've watched every game, we know that's the reason why they've improved. And look, Kenny Vaccaro, he has had quite the, I'd say, roller coaster career with the Saints. Great rookie year, down second year, and it's been topsy-turvy all over the place. Of course, he's in the final year of his contract. He's on that 5th-year extension. And right in time, look, because at the beginning of the season, Kenny Vaccaro was not looked at by Sean Payton extremely highly, so much so that he pulled him from the Patriots game. And now he's gotten to the point where Kenny Vaccaro has become this gigantic asset with the Saints. It's gone from yanking him to Sean Payton beating him on the back with a gigantic slap after a takeaway, and now giving him game balls, and he's been a gigantic piece to the puzzle in defense.
Yeah, that's funny you bring that up, because I thought that was eye-opening. I think Sean Payton's done a really good job of coaching this year, and that's just a microcosm of the job he's done. He wasn't afraid. And look, that's a controversial thing to do, to basically bench one of your star players, a guy that you've designated as a leader. That's not easy to do, but look at the results it got, and now he's back on board. And Payton is good about that. He can have these confrontations, like with Mark Ingram, and it's tough love, and he brings them back around. And look how Kenny Vaccaro has responded.
But it's only select players. He's probably had that, and it hasn't happened. Look how many people have been jettisoned away. But but so sometimes it doesn't work. But when it works, you see it, and we're seeing it with Kenny Vaccaro. And I caught up with Kenny in the locker room earlier this week, and like I said, I kind of teased it earlier that he's not shy about saying, look, we're getting pubbed because we're winning, even though he feels like he's been doing this for a while, but the defense is finally getting pubbed. So let's hear what Kenny had to say when I poked and prodded him with questions earlier this week.
Obviously, they've been putting you in all kinds of different positions the last several weeks, and you've really been thriving in seemingly all of them. What's been kind of the primary reason you've been able to be very versatile and good against the run, good against the pass, good against it all, really?
Well, I've been doing that ever since I got here, so I don't think it's nothing new, really.
Yeah.
We're just winning, so people are noticing.
Is that it?
I mean, that's it. We're just winning. Nobody cares about you when you're losing. And then really, honestly, I've been doing the same thing for years. And now people are starting to say something. It's kind of funny. I think I did it my rookie year. I played 10 positions. Did it last year before I got suspended. I was on a turnover streak just like I was this year. But we weren't winning, so nobody cared.
Well, do you think
really the same stuff I'm doing?
Do you think people have taken notice because you've been able to get the numbers, like interceptions and stuff? Do you think that's a reason?
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I got one more pick than I did last year so far. But yeah, it's been a pretty good hot start. But to be honest, it's because we're winning. It's nothing. I mean, when you see guys get recognition and guys go to the Pro Bowl and all that, it's usually on winning teams, and that's why you see Marshawn getting a whole secondary. Cam's been playing the same as he always has. He's been here, but now everybody's saying, "Oh, why is this not guy getting recognition?" It's crazy. But I mean, I've always believed all along. It's just we got to win, and that's what. And then everybody starts asking questions.
Yeah, but as far as just a unit, I mean, you guys have
playing
been playing
better.
well, right?
Yeah, when your defense, and not even just winning. When you're playing better on defense, people start talking. When you're winning games because of defense, that's when it's like wow. And then they start looking, well, who are the guys that are playing good in that defense? And that's when guys usually get recognition.
But everyone's playing well in defense. So.
Exactly.
so everyone should receive recognition, I guess, in your eyes, right?
No doubt.
As far as the Bucs, I mean, it seems like sometimes they can be on, sometimes they can be off. Just what have you seen on tape from them? That obviously they've got two good receivers, and Jameis Winston's been back there for 3 years now.
Yeah, I mean, Jameis obviously a franchise quarterback. They got two guys. I mean, they got a couple of guys. They got O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Sean Jackson, Mike Evans. They've lost some close games. Last year, I think they won 6 out of their last 8, so they ended up they were 3-5 at one point. And this kind of the same deal right now. So I mean, they're a good team. I mean, everybody was saying they'd be at the top of our division before the season. We highly respect them. Every time we play these guys, it's a dogfight. It's a one-score game. So we're not looking at anybody's record or anything. We understand. Number 2 passing offense in the league. Yeah, you can't take these guys lightly at all.
Too early to look at the division?
Yeah, way too early. We hadn't played enough division games, I feel like. It'd be different if we had already played all their division.
Right.
But we haven't. We still got 2 more Atlantas. We got 2 Tampa Bays and a Carolina. So not early, but it does feel good to be on top. I mean, regardless of what anybody says, it's early, but it does feel good.
Right. It's better to be there than where Tampa
is. And at the bottom.
Right, cool.
Thanks, Kenny. And that's Kenny Vaccaro. And look, it's almost like he's kind of taking it personal that, now all of a sudden people are talking about the defense, but he's been someone you could go talk to when the defense is stunk, and he's told it like it is. So I think that, but Kenny's trying to say, look, we belong. And I think that's kind of a mindset that you've seen with this defense through the past 5 weeks, that they belong, that they can make plays, and obviously without them making plays last week, the Saints would have bumbled that game away. And without them, they would not be on a 5-game winning streak.
I think they've got a great chance to be the difference on Sunday. I mean, Jameis Winston is turnover prone. We've seen that. He tries to make too many plays sometimes for his own good. I think they have a chance, I think, on Sunday to maybe get a pick six or something like that. Their offensive line, Bucs have had some struggles up there, up front as well. I don't see. I think it's a bad matchup for Tampa Bay. I think the Saints are going to roll them.
I don't know if they're going to necessarily roll them. Look, my pick's public. Your pick's public. We'll mention them later on in the show. But like, I picked the Saints to still win and cover. Let me look. What
these division games
spread is, but it's a division game.
They're usually closer.
It's usually close. Look, what's the spread right now? It's anywhere between 6.5 and 7. I have the Saints winning. I think I have them winning by 8. So I do think that it's a one-score game because you never know. Look, we've seen teams not go deep on the, like the secondary is bound to have some sort of breakdown. And Deshaun Jackson to me is someone who could blow the top off if, say, Ken Crawley gets beat on coverage. I'm not saying Ken Crawley stinks. I'm just saying it can happen. And so you could get one of these shot plays and all of a sudden it's a tight game and you never know. But I do think there's no question about it. The Saints are a better team than the Bucs.
Well, look, they got Deshaun Jackson, right? O.J. Howard they brought in from Alabama. Mike Evans. I mean, they've got some playmakers.
Cameron Braid is someone who you don't talk about, but he's one of the better receiving, say, tight ends in the NFL.
He's my fantasy football tight end. I talk about him all the time.
# no one cares about your fantasy football tight end.
But I would say this. Tampa's going to be a desperate team coming in here. They got blanked. Well, not blanked. They scored 3 points last week.
Just about, yeah.
Against Carolina. And I tell you, Saints fans, everybody should have their eye on that Carolina-Atlanta game. That's a big game this week. I know we're going to talk about our picks in a little while, but that game will have major implications on the NFC South.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I asked Kenny Vaccaro. You're at the midway point. The 3 teams are separated by 1 game because Carolina's 5-3, so they're a half game back, and yet technically you could look at it as, well, they're a game back because the Saints have a 1-0 edge, but you're going to play them again, so it's not that big of a deal. And then Atlanta's 4-3, so it's 1 game separating 3 teams, and it's the most competitive, tightly knit division up top there is in football right now.
AFC East pretty tight too.
That's the other one,
especially after last night.
Yes,
that was surprising to me. I mean, the Jets really handled Buffalo, and I don't think that helps the Saints cause any because I think Buffalo now has a bye week or they have an open date or no, they just have a long
week. They play both of them. Both of them seemingly they feel like even though you'd think they're inferior teams, they're going to have some sort of confidence whenever you play them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think I'm intrigued to see. I'm not going to give away my pick, but I have a controversial pick in that Carolina-Atlanta game.
Well, should we talk about your picks from last week?
No, we don't want to talk about that. No,
Why
we just
not?
don't want to. It's last week.
Should we just rehash
It's in the past, as the players always tell us.
Yes,
I don't live in the past.
Yes, Mark McGuire. I'm not here to speak about the past.
No, not here to talk about the past.
You definitely did not have a performance-enhancing pick drug last week.
I love that.
I did not make any good picks last week. Period.
He's going Palmero on you. Point the finger. Claude, that's gold.
Thank you.
That was glorious.
That's not gold. That's something, but it's not gold.
Period.
Oh, they're laughing at themselves over here. So
waka waka waka.
The Falcons-Panthers game, I think we need to discuss real quick. Who do you like in that game?
I don't know.
It's at Carolina.
You look at the spread. Let's see. Carolina opened as a 1-point favorite, and now you look at it and they're a dog because Atlanta is now anywhere between 1, 1.5, 2.
Wow. So the American public is on the Falcons.
Right.
That's interesting to me in Carolina. But that's one thing we've talked about before. That's one of the easier stadiums I think to play in the league. Carolina's kind of a wine and cheese crowd. It's just not very intimidating. It's not that loud, frankly.
The Saints have won there plenty.
Yeah, it's not a hard place to play. What's interesting is Atlanta's in their new stadium this year, and they've struggled. They're actually 3-1 on the road, but at home they've lost to the Dolphins and the Bills.
I don't think any NFC South road venue for the Saints is some intimidating game changer.
No,
just
Tampa,
not.
especially Tampa, half the crowd isn't even at the game. They're out tailgating halfway through. It's a great tailgate environment. A lot of Saints fans go down to that game because it's an easy flight to Tampa, and they've got a great outdoor tailgate area.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
the Bucs fans frankly, aren't that passionate, so you can get tickets.
Well, they haven't been to the playoffs since when? 2007. We had Greg Allman talking about that earlier in the week from the Tampa Bay Times. So it's not like they've been in the playoffs for a while.
And that game this year, that's the last game on the schedule. The Saints will be playing down in Tampa.
New Year's Eve, and it could have playoff implications. Sorry, Kenny Vaccaro, we're talking about that for the Saints. Yes, not
and
for Tampa.
You know, Kenny Vaccaro's looking at the division. The one guy on the team that I guarantee you is looking at the division, looking at the defensive stats, looking at his stats. That's Kenny Vaccaro. That's not a criticism. That's just Kenny.
Why do you think I asked him?
Exactly. He protested too much. No, Coy Kenny.
But yeah, you look at this game, and look, we're all in agreement, I'm sure, that the Saints should win this game. But yet last week, it's a game that they should have won. Sean Payton did a very good job of keeping that team together through that week. He even mentioned it in his post-game press conference. Everyone's writing that we should win, that, the other, and they did a good job of not letting that get in their heads and just win the game. Look, I think this is another one where you just win the game. Don't worry about if it's a beauty pageant. Win the game. And I just think that you look at Tampa and what they've been doing, it's something that offensively for the Saints, look, we've seen some struggles per se, but Drew Brees doesn't get sacked, and the Bucs struggle in the pass rush. So I think this could be one of those big-time games where Drew Brees comes out and just kind of lights things up.
And you're saying they're struggling, and what do they rank? Third in the league?
Exactly. There's this perception that they're struggling, and it's
because it doesn't look pretty in the moment.
But that's how that's how spoiled we've been here over the years.
No question.
With Brees and Peyton, that it seems like the offense isn't quite firing on all cylinders, and they're still in the top 5 like they always are. And they're not scoring quite as much as they used to, primarily because they haven't converted on third down. They've had to settle for field goals. But they're still moving the ball. It's rare you see them have 2 3-and-outs in a row. I mean, it just hardly ever happens.
Right.
And when it does, everybody's like, "What's going on? Brees is terrible."
Right, exactly. And of course, he's not terrible.
No, but I mean, it's just so funny how we've taken it for granted to some degree how good they are on offense over the years.
Just watch when Drew's gone, and say you and me go to practice and watch that. It's going to be
the Taysom Hill era.
The Miles Brennan era. What are you talking about? They're going to draft Miles Brennan.
The next Saints quarterback after Drew is going to be Arch Manning III, Cooper's son, who is a 7th grader at Newman right now. He's the next Manning.
So Drew is going to play for another 12 years
or so?
Yes.
So he'll outdo Tom Brady, and obviously Tom Brady's witchcraft of drinking
What's
witchcraft?
Yeah. Did anyone else not see that profile of what Tom Brady is doing and this whole TB12 method that he is using to allow him to play until he's 40?
I know he's got an incredibly unique nutrition.
Yeah, unique is one way to put it. Most other people would call it, a crock, but hey,
it witchcraft.
Yeah,
where'd that come from?
Well, I mean, he's talking about how he's drinking, how he wakes up in the morning and drinks 20 fluid ounces of filtered water, and then he has
What's wrong with that?
No, it's not the filtered water. It's just like it's witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
See, I like it.
I'm not moving to Lakeview now.
He's got a brittle water filtering system.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Wait, yes.
I can't even talk. He's hearing the music.
I just don't know what that is, Dave. I mean, why?
It's entertainment tonight.
You're crap. You're making up.
Okay, gotcha. I'll tell you what, tonight, if I get paid like the people on ET, I'll tell you right now, I'm leaving right now.
The old witchcraft. On that note,
I will bring that up in the next segment. I'm pulling up the article.
Sassy Clyde has come back.
Pulling up the article.
Let's entertainment tonight out of the segment and get the hell out of here. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We'll have our NFL picks. Lock of the week, upset of the week, fantasy stud of the week, and then what everyone's waiting for in the final segment, which I'll give myself 30 seconds to go on a rant, my old crotchety man rant. Are you ready?
Yes.
I know you're
ready. We've been waiting for 2 hours.
Y'all are going to be so disappointed in my rant.
Get the carts out of the grocery aisle.
This is how you want to end the show.
Absolutely. Go out with a bang on a Friday here. Dunc and Holder.
You're Your forecast on Sports
My rant's
1280
gonna suck
New
so
Orleans.
bad.
I know, and you're like building it up and building it up, building it up, and then when we get to like the last hour, it's gonna be like, well, this was terrible.
I'm building it up to suck.
Going to be a dry
That's
day,
the
but warm
point.
day.
You're gonna be like, wow, that's the most pathetic thing I've ever heard of.
Patchy fog develops.
It would be like, thanks guys for listening to another week. We'll maybe see you on Monday.
Say I'm going to chart room. Peace. Maybe flirting with records, highs in the low to mid 80s, overnight lows staying in the 60s. And if you're looking for colder air,
oh yeah, the local hood rat.
Until mid next week. From the Fox 8 Weather Center.
He starts putting it on on Wednesday. I'm like, this is hilarious.
Download the McDonald's app and
yes, he's got a little bit of a personality.
And right now, get
let me tell you,
soft drink or sweet tea for
speaking to
just
the media,
$1
he's definitely gotten like he feels comfortable.
Yeah, he's got better.
Yes,
and he's like a go-to guy now. You got to
he's
go to every game
because he's scoring, he's doing everything.
Yeah, and he's
Habitat for Humanity.
No, he's good.
Houses.
Yeah.
So much
your
more.
local hood rat.
A habitat built is where hanging a door
looks like a Alvin
opens a world of opportunity.
He said he got it last second and like he thought of it, so he won the rookie
Where a simple
costume contest
can
or
unlock
something.
a brighter future. You see, Habitat for Humanity builds houses.
He even said, yeah, it's like, I'm the old local hood rat and I'm going to the store to get a 40.
Will you build? Visit habitat.org.
That's awesome. Last guy was like losing it when he's putting on the costume
you can
in front
get
of us.
sildenafil,
Yeah.
the active
No,
ingredient
Camara's
in
good.
Viagra, in generic 20 milligrams for $2 per tablet. That's a
They just
savings
need to
of
give him the ball
$40
more
per
down to the
dose.
goal line.
Marley Drug
No
is
kidding,
a North
I'm in.
Carolina pharmacy delivering
Well, Houston
generic
started off as a
sildenafil to your
14-point
door.
favorite.
For
Now they're a
information on
10-point
sildenafil,
underdog.
Go to marleygenerics.com.
Because of Deshaun
Or call us
Watson.
at
I looked at it today. They were
800-853-6375.
6.5-point favorites.
That number again, 800-853-6375.
on where you look.
6375.
Bet online, they have him as a 6.5-point
The young
favorite.
superstars in the NFL has seen his season come to an end. Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson
I'm looking at
tore
VI
ACL during
consensus.
practice on a non-contact
Colts are
play.
6.5-point
Watson
underdogs.
tied for the league lead with 19 touchdown
this one.
passes. Tom Savage will now take over.
Tom Savage
No,
is
I'm
pretty
looking
good.
at the wrong
Colts
thing.
quarterback
I'm looking at
Andrew
the wrong
Luck will be placed on injured reserve
I might have been
ending
wrong
his
in there.
season. Luck had
No, I was
surgery
not
earlier
wrong
this
on
year
the
for a partially torn
Atlanta
labrum in his
spread.
throwing
I was
shoulder. The Jets
It's
defeated the
opened at
Bills in the Thursday
Carolina
night game
-1.
34-21.
Now across the
Todd
board.
Bowles' team now 4-5.
It's big because we lost 3. 7 points,
Atlanta's
5 points,
favorite.
3 points to come back on a Thursday on a short week before you get a weekend off. It's big. We were 3-5. We needed to get to 4-5.
Matt Forte ran for a pair of touchdowns for New York. Josh McCown passed for 1 and ran for a second. The Angels give Justin Upton a new 5-year deal worth $106 million. From the NBA, Damian Lillard hit a three-pointer with 0.7 of a second left as the Blazers beat the Lakers 113-110. That's sports. Frank Arity, NBC News Radio.
30 seconds.
Your floors are under attack, from overwatered plants to overflowing dog bowls. But the Home Depot has water-resistant Pergo Outlast Plus laminate flooring, starting at just $279 a square foot. So you and your floors get to fight back with 24-hour spill protection that stands up to liquids for a whole day without damage. The next generation of laminate flooring is Pergo Outlast Plus, starting at just $279 a square foot, exclusively from the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
I got a pounding head and an aching back, and the camel's buried in a big straw stack.
Learn what our insiders know about your home teams. Sports 1280 New Orleans.
Duncan Holder, Country Fried Friday. Time for our Pick'em segment, and it's the reboot of the Pick'em segment that Jeff has created in his own mind, and we're just going to go that route. So we've got Lock of the Week.
Kind of like Tom Brady
and
his 72 trace mineral electrolyte water that he drinks every morning that apparently keeps him so hydrated he can't get sunburn to adequate sunlight.
Someone get Clyde a stun gun. Can we mace Clyde?
Bioceramic recovery wear? It's like Bomani Jones said, it just if this was anybody else, it would be a con. But because it's Tom Brady, it's not a con.
Why do you hate Tom Brady?
I don't hate Tom Brady. I just think it's crazy that like we're doing features on very wacky, crazy people who are selling these things at like $200 a pop plus things for a cookbook and other stuff.
You don't have to buy it.
You don't have to buy it. You're right. But we're doing
nobody's
huge
put a gun
profile.
to your head. Maybe,
but we can do profile pieces on it.
I think Tom Brady needs to get on Star Caps. What do you say, Jeff?
Star Caps.
Remember the old Star Caps?
Oh, yeah, that was about 2008 or so.
That ended Jamar Nesbitt's career and opened the door for Carl Nicks, actually.
It did. And our good buddy Deuce McAllister.
Him. Let's see, Will Smith. Who else was on Star?
Was that 60 Minutes? Was that the 60 Minutes clock?
Wasn't it Chuck Grant? Charles Grant also?
I don't think it was him. I think it was.
And the guys from the Vikings.
It was some guy from the Vikings.
Kevin Williams.
Kevin Williams, yeah.
And another guy, I can't remember. But
a random.
I remember we were in London when that broke, I think, for the Saints-Chargers game.
Good old Star Caps.
All right, well, let's get into the picks. Let's dive in here. I know Clyde's scared to death right now.
I'm not this week. I think I've got it this week.
Well, right, by the way, no, before we get started, Clyde, why don't you give the listeners... Since we don't pick every game anymore, Jeffrey still picks every game on NOLA.com and in the Times-Picayune. Why don't you give us an update on Jeff's picks from last week? How well did he do?
Jeff, even in spite of himself, Jeff had an amazing week. And I'm talking about a fully fantastic week of picks. Like, even in the span of, like, the entirety of time and history, Jeff could not have done better with his picks. He went 1-12.
That's pathetic. 1-12 against the spread. I mean, you got to try to be that bad.
You got to try to be that bad, man. You got to try. Like, you got to look at these picks and say, how can I absolutely submarine any kind of positive momentum I want? How about I do this? Sounds good. Let's do it.
If you're going to mock my picks, you have to make your picks.
Uh-oh.
You can't mock somebody and not make your own
picks. People do it every day.
Because you could have gone 0-13.
Do it every day.
0-13 for all I know.
You could have gone 0-13. That's his argument. You could have gone 0-13.
Could have. Very much could have.
But I didn't, and you did.
So my record on the year now is 53-61-2.
So you're losing money. Good thing you're not betting real money.
52-49 going into last week. Wow. Above 500 against the spread, which is pretty darn good.
Not anymore.
As Amos Morale would say, he does a pretty good job. High praise for
it was a pretty good job.
Will Guillory on the Chris Gordy show.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about this week's schedule. There's some interesting games. We talked a little bit earlier about the NFC South. Of course, 2 big games in the NFC South. But I want Clyde first lead off with your upset of the week. Have you picked out an upset of the week?
Yeah, and I would probably say my upset of the week would be Carolina. Carolina beating Atlanta at home this week.
So now that the spread is flipped, you're going Carolina upset of the week.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's interesting. I would not have picked that. I picked Atlanta to win that game straight up.
Oh.
Because I'm like the American public. I'm on the Falcons bandwagon. Actually, I'm just anti-Panthers.
Are you just anti-Carolina?
I've been anti-Carolina all year, and it's burned me because
somehow they're 5-3.
I don't get
understand it. I'm with you. I don't get it.
I think they're getting wins when people aren't looking. They're just
also
changing their record.
Also accurate.
All right, Larry, your upset of the week?
My upset of the week is going to be Baltimore beating Tennessee. Right now, you look at the spreads. Tennessee is a 3.5-point favorite. They were a 5-point favorite to start the week. So I think Baltimore is going to upset Tennessee at Tennessee.
We could not disagree more on that game.
Oh, boy.
It's impossible for us to disagree.
You were 1-12.
Yes, I was. 1 week. My upset of the week is going to be the San Francisco 49ers, who are going to be inspired by the acquisition of Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's not even going to play.
They're still going to win with C.J. Beathard as the quarterback. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals, who are 2-point favorites, and the Cardinals are terrible. So I'm actually picking against Arizona.
Yeah, who's their quarterback? Is it Drew Stanton now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
He's not very good.
I like the 49ers to finally get a win. They've been close all year and knocking on the door, and that team's needle is pointing upward.
Well, now that they got Jimmy Garoppolo, they're going to be good. And look, if they stink and they say they get the number 1 or number 2 pick, you could easily see them taking like Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Exactly.
Can you imagine getting a guy like that?
It'd be a 1-2 boost to them.
Arden Key.
There's a lot of talk, especially, I don't know if you guys saw the story yesterday about Sam Darnold or Sam Darnold's people talking about whether or not whatever happens with the draft and draft proceedings and pickings, that if Cleveland is anywhere near that top, either number 1 or in that top 5, that he may stay in college for another year.
How about Sam Darnold needs to worry about stop throwing picks?
Again,
how about
fair?
that?
That's a fair statement. I'm just telling
Forget
you
about
what
Cleveland.
we're reading. I'm just telling you what we're reading.
Hot take, Larry.
You're not Eli Manning. You think you can do whatever you want and move. I don't want to go play for the Chargers, so I'm going to force my way to the Giants. No, sorry, Sam Darnold. Quit throwing picks and worry about becoming a better player. Who cares about where you play?
All right. Lead pipe cinch lock of the week. Clyde, who's your lock of the week in the NFL Week 9 schedule? Week 9, Week 10? What are we in?
Week 9.
Week 9.
Yes.
Lock of the week for me is going to be the Rams going into East Rutherford or MetLife Stadium or whatever you want to call it and pulling out the win.
Rams beating the Giants.
I'm with you on that. That is a lead pipe cinch lock. They might win by 30 in that game.
Yes.
The Giants are in complete disarray. They've
spiraling downward.
I think they suspended Janoris Jenkins this week. He's I think the third different defensive back that's been suspended this year.
Yep.
Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie was one.
Yeah.
Right. I think Ben McAdoo's losing the locker room.
I think there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's looking ugly, and I think they're going to blow that thing up. I think Jerry Reese, their GM, is in trouble. That's a storied franchise, and they're just kind of floundering right now, and Eli's trying to keep the ship righted. Larry?
If the Saints weren't playing well and the Giants were going in the tubes, I think we would be hearing, man, maybe Sean Payton could go coach the Giants. But we don't have to hear that right now since the Saints.
Where'd that come from?
Look, it happened 2 years ago. He wanted to go be with the Giants. It didn't happen. So there you go. Lock of the week for me. How are y'all ignoring Washington at Seattle? I'm going Seattle. That's the lock of the week.
That is a lock.
That's a good lock of the week.
That's a good one.
I think Seattle, when I was doing my research for that, has only lost to Washington like once ever or something out there.
They're a 7-point favorite at home, and they're playing really well. That's the lock of the week, gentlemen.
Well, I would say the Texans against the Colts, even with Tom Savage, is my lock. I just think the Colts are horrible.
Who's winning the AFC South, by the way? Who's going to win that?
Jacksonville might win the AFC South.
That's a legitimate, again, another question. I know I asked these questions after we've talked about the NFC North, the NFC South, and now the AFC South. Like who? Deshaun Watson's out, nothing but injuries.
Andrew Luck is now on IR.
Andrew Luck is on IR. He's done.
Right.
So literally, I saw a friend of mine post, wrap Marcus Mariota in bubble wrap today.
He's been banged up and hadn't played great this year. I thought he'd be playing better.
But now you probably don't have to play great to win the
They're
win
a different
division,
team when he plays.
Well, there's no doubt.
He makes a big difference for that. They're pretty good on defense, but when he's not in there, they are very average.
All right, so where we got fantasy stud of the week?
Yes, and I'll lead off with that. Let me lead off.
Go for it.
I'm going to say Dak Prescott. Look, they're going to be leaning on Prescott now without Ezekiel Elliott.
He's playing this weekend.
Well, okay. Well, then they're going to lean on him even more.
Isn't this crazy? Will he play? Won't he?
I don't even keep up with that story anymore.
Apparently, he is unsuspended again. He got a temporary stay.
How did that happen?
It was breaking news this morning.
I don't even pay attention to it. I'm so glad we don't have to deal with that. It's like bounty covering that.
It's become why is the American court system so interested in Ezekiel Elliott's
Cowboys? Elliott granted
status.
Stay can play Sunday.
Does every judge in America have him on their fantasy team?
Probably
is that what it is?
so. Probably so.
They know what's grant him eligibility. That's what the Cowboys are probably doing in their agents, finding out what judges in America, what federal judges have Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, I thought part of the case was going to come here to 5th District Court in New Orleans. I don't know if it's coming here, but I read that somewhere.
Look, they play the Chiefs. That's going to be an intriguing game. They're playing in Dallas, and I just think the Chiefs are going to have a little bit of a letdown. They had a big win against the Broncos on Monday Night Football. Now they got to go on the road, play Dallas. I like Dallas in that game, and I like Prescott to have a big game.
Well, our buddy Jarrett Bell, NFL columnist from USA Today, who was on yesterday, that's where he's going. So obviously some national attention. So, all right, you got Dak Prescott. Who you got, Clyde?
I'm going with Derek Carr, quarterback, Oakland Raiders. Raiders are at the Dolphins this week. It is the Sunday night game, I believe. Yeah, 7:30. So I'm going with Derek Carr to have a big game against the Dolphins.
I am going Homer alert, not Saints Homer alert, but Homer New Orleanian alert. Leonard Fournette coming back. He's going to thrash Cincinnati.
I like that pick.
It's a good pick.
I think they're going to crush the Bengals. I mean, that's going to be first of all, the Bengals have a shaky offensive line. Remember, they let Andrew Whitworth go in the offseason. That was a huge pickup for the Rams.
Great move for him to go to the Rams, who are playing well.
So that was a great move for him. He gets on a good team. The Bengals, I don't know what they were doing. They also lost another, who is the guard? Kevin
Zeitler, who the Saints tried to get involved with, but, of course, Cleveland paid bank, and they settled, quote-unquote, for Larry Warford, who not going to play this week, I would assume, but well worth the money for the Saints.
So they have one of the shakiest offensive lines in the league. I think they've given up the 4th most sacks in the league.
Yikes.
Now they go to Jacksonville, who leads the league in sacks. With Kyle Campbell. I'm trying to remember who the other guy. They have another really good pass rusher there.
Well, they got Dante Fowler. They've got. They just picked up Marcel Darius from the Bills.
Right.
But yeah, they've been incredible.
They've got 33 sacks already.
The Tampa Bay Bucks have 7. They have 33.
Now,
just put that in perspective.
And here's something else we've not talked about on the show. Along the same lines, the Saints have only allowed 7 sacks this year.
Wow.
Best in the league. If you go read 1st and 10. Boy, it's my encouraging stat of the week. The fact that the Bucks can't sack the quarterback and the Saints don't give up sacks. So my encouraging
7 sacks
stat
all
of the
year.
week.
And that's a testament to the Saints offensive line, which we've talked about is one of the strengths of this team.
Absolutely. Let's take one final break here on this show. We will give our final breakdowns. Saints Bucks in the Dome on Sunday noon kickoff.
Talk about PBS.
And my rant of the week. I'm going to limit myself to about 30 seconds for this rant.
This better be a good rant.
This better be worth it,
It's going to be
This
pitiful.
better be worth it.
After all this hype.
Pitiful, laughable, and you guys are going to look at me crazy. And that's okay. That's the whole point of this rant.
We do that anyway.
Exactly. Well, Dave will always love me, so that's what I got going for me here on Sports 1280.
Ding, ding.
There you go. See? Even Dave gives me his own little
gutter break
sound effects. Sports 1280 NOLA.com and the iHeartRadio app. Having a good time here on a Country Fried Friday on Dunc and Holder.
The 2nd annual Wine on the River.
All right, this is a short 2-minute break.
Cool. Yep.
Audubon Aquarium.
Yeah, I know we ran long,
It's
but
on sale now.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
Cloud was rambling as usual.
I was not. Yeah, I was a rambler.
Cloud was giving out shout-outs.
I didn't give any shots that last one, but I got some, though.
Case them.
Case
Are you taking Viagra for
Go send out a dedication to Morgan City.
Shout out to the homeland.
It's going out to Berwick.
That's a
on the
savings of
bayou.
$40
Shout out to the Atchafalaya.
Marley Drug
Dave
is a
rules.
North Carolina direct sildenafil to your door. For information on
God, it's
sildenafil, go
definitely
to
Friday. I'm ready to jump out of the seat.
or
Get
call
out
us
of
at
here.
800-853-6375.
I can breathe for like 20
that number
minutes.
again, 800-853-6375.
Good show, guys. Yeah, it's good. It's a fun show. Good show.
The Scott Eli Jackson Foundation's Purple Purpose Gala
Yeah, I
honors
wrote-
those who have fallen victim to pancreatic cancer.
They cut
and
some of
shows
it in the
support
paper,
for
but I
those
wrote
fighting the disease
2,500
today.
words first.
This year's gala is
Jesus,
Sunday,
2,500
November 19th at City Park's Parkview Terrace.
Massive.
With
Well, I
all
make it-
proceeds benefiting the Scott
it's
Eli
more
Jackson
substantial than it
Foundation
used to be
and its
on
more.
purpose.
It'll be a night
It's
of
like
great
4
entertainment
columns.
and
Yeah,
fabulous local cuisine. Find out more. Go to the.
I like to. It's kind of like I look at it as like, all right, this is my say Peter King type
Right.
column.
That's
Like
what
I
you
want to
do.
like.
Poverty and
Have it be
disaster
your
have left
franchise.
millions
Yeah.
of children around the world
I still could never get, by the way,
abandoned, alone,
anybody
when their parents
to give
can't be there.
the Gleason
SOS
story
Children's
any
Villages
play.
is
I don't know
there.
what was going on
Unbelievable.
there.
I gave
Put it in their Slack.
I gave a second tweet on purpose because you told me that. I'm like, I'm
SOS
tweeting it out again.
It's like one of the best stories I've written in
Yeah, it was very good.
Couldn't get anything, any traction, and then my
Up to
picks
16
was
times a
featured
day.
the next day.
Starting at
The
5
picks
a.m.
against the
When
spread.
you hear the
David
keyword,
Francis
text
is
it to
cringing
200
right now.
200. Listen all day for a chance
Screaming
to put
about
a
our
grand in your hand on
coworkers.
Sports 1280. New
He's like,
Orleans.
I cringe when you guys are on commercial.
I don't understand how the operation works sometimes.
Dunc and Holder now. Josh Innes next at noon on Sports 1280. New Orleans.
That's why Dave's the best here on Dunc and Holder. He just makes it happen. Absolutely.
Among many other things.
Hey, Dave, who's this? Who sings this?
Come over to Georgia Line.
The sad thing is,
You always ask that question, and he plays it every week.
the sad
It's
thing
the
is,
same
I knew
ones.
it. I was going to say it. It
Because
was
you hate it.
Yes, so much. So much.
I love that song.
It's so bad.
Saints Bucks. Saints are depends on which spread you look at, 6.5 or 7 point favorite. And look, we all are in agreement. The Saints should win this game. I think we'll all pick the Saints to win this game. Why don't we give our picks right here and why? Why don't we start with you, Clyde? Let's start with you, my friend.
Great. Obviously, coming to the winner, clearly. I like the Saints. We've talked about it every week since they've gone on this 5-game run. The defense is playing lights out. They're getting to the quarterback. They're going to get to Jameis Winston. I think they're going to cause havoc in that backfield. And I think the Saints offense will be good enough. And I mean, one player that I think we don't talk about enough, or at least I don't think he gets enough love, is Will Lutz. Will Lutz has just been absolutely fantastic for this team, getting points when necessary, and I think the Saints end up pulling this one out. I say 24-12 Saints.
24-12. Jeff, what you got?
I picked the Saints big. I think I picked them 30-14 or something like that, 30-13. I don't think it's going to be close at all. I think they jump on them early. And you're right. That's a good point, Clyde. Will Lutz is having a very good year. The kicking game with Thomas Morstead and Lutz,
yes.
They're in good shape there. The return game is still a little shaky, coverage sometimes shaky, but just the actual kicking game, both fronts are very good. Morstead's having a Pro Bowl kind of year.
Morstead takes out the pitching wedge, and he'll pop it at the 1, and it'll backspin to the 5. I mean, he's
so dirty.
He's done that a few times this year, and he's been tremendous.
Yeah, and some of the guys going down, they're gunners, and they're doing a good job.
Justin Hardy's done a great job on special teams. We probably never mentioned him on the show before, but he's done a very good job on special teams.
I don't even think I would know Justin Hardy if he walked in here right now. I've seen him. I'm sure I've seen him.
Would you know Chris Banjo?
Yes, I do know Chris Banjo.
Okay, well that's because he's been around for longer than.
But Hardy, I wouldn't know at all.
But he's done a great job. Well, of course, I'm sure our own Herbie Teopi's wrote a 3,000-word story on Justin Hardy.
Shout out to Herbie.
That's what he does. Hacksaw Herbie Teopi. Look, I'm going Saints. 24-16. I do think that the Saints might be susceptible to a shot play, like I said earlier. I think Deshaun Jackson is going to be someone that the Saints have not faced, someone that a speedster that they have not really seen this year. I think he might give them some issues because Marshawn Lattimore can't cover everyone, but I do think the Saints can limit that. I think they can pressure Jameis Winston, and I think Drew Brees is not going to be pressured. So I do think the Saints are going to win 24-16 and make it 6 in a row, 6-2 at the halfway mark. I don't think any of us would have ever predicted that, even though Jeff was very high on the Saints. I don't think he would have ever predicted it.
No, I wouldn't have had them with that quick of a start. I thought they would struggle a little more early. But look, there's some encouraging news on that front. I think the Saints are one of only 4 teams ever to start 0-2 and then win their next 5 games. And the teams that have done it, every one of them has gone at least to the conference championship game.
Wow.
Other ones actually made it to the Super Bowl. I think the New York Giants did it back in when they won with Eli.
2 minutes.
So that's an encouraging sign. I know it's kind of an arbitrary statistic, but it just shows you how rare it is to turn your season around the way the Saints have done it.
So you're putting the Saints in the NFC title game. That's what you just said.
Yeah. I think critical.
It's been a long January for us.
I've said it before. Sean Payton doesn't want to hear it, but getting home field advantage in the playoffs is critical for the Saints because they are not good in January on the road, and they especially don't want to go to Seattle. You just don't want to play out there. That's an incredibly difficult place to win.
All right, enough of talking your nonsense. It's time for my rant.
When's the rant going to happen?
It's coming.
Hurry up.
I love stepping out on WIS. It's been a tradition on WIS. It comes on after Informed Sources. I love that show, and it's a travesty that they're not allowed to play their Steppin' Out theme song anymore. Total travesty. Can't stand it. They play some other nonsense song because copyright on YouTube took it away, so it's not Steppin' Out. It's some nonsense song. It's the main reason why I watch the show. Me and 12 others in the city. It's the main reason why I watch the show.
For the
song.
That's Joe Jackson.
I know.
One of the great songwriters.
It's glorious, and now they've taken it away. It's been gone for months, and I'm bent.
Wow, I didn't know they took it away.
It's gone.
Maybe they could play "I'm the Man" by Joe Jackson, one of the great songs of all time.
But then they'd have to rename the show "I'm the Man," and Peggy Scott LaBorde, she's a woman, so it doesn't make sense. And I've got a weird fascination. I love my girl Poppy. Love Poppy.
You do have a weird fascination. There's lots of weird fascinations coming out on today's
20
show.
seconds.
Oh
Absolutely.
my God.
Dave is ready to end this show immediately. He's by the second he's counting it down.
We all know I'm the man anyway.
What an awful way to end this show. I love you stepping out. Love your show. Coming back Monday, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Duncan Holder as Clyde is.
We waited for that.
Cringy.
Bye, y'all.
I'm not going to take this anymore. Live and local.
I told you it'd be terrible.
That's what it was.
I didn't know what to say.
I told you it'd be so terrible. It'd be awesome.
I love Joe Jackson. That's funny.
say I've started another game.
Yeah, they had to take it off because YouTube it's been gone for like a year. YouTube made them take it away because they put their.
What the show is. What is it?
I don't even know what it is.
Stepping out.
Like I've seen it, but like I don't like register it as something.
I mean, the song. What's the show though?
It's Peggy Scott LaBorde. It's like
what's she doing?
It comes on after Informed Sources.
Informed Sources. Everybody, go home. I'm leaving the YouTube stream just so you can hear about this right now. I haven't turned it off yet. Go home.
It's Informed Sources.
Watch Informed Sources and Stepping Out and report back to us on Monday.
It's like a little entertainment half hour about New Orleans. Like Poppy Tucker does like some food stuff, then they've got some other guy doing like film reviews, and then they might have someone play a little duet and sing. It's glorious. But the song makes the show.
Tucker.
Poppy, my girl.
Yeah, she's involved with Tales of the Cocktail, maybe, or something like that. Or?
Exactly. Dave has cut us off. He's tired of listening when they scream about Poppy. So glorious.